watching Yes.
After a week on the road, the Yankees are back in the Bronx for the weekend as they welcome the Toronto Blue Jays for the first of a 3-game series. The Yankees are now in a stretch where they'll play 9 straight games against American League East opponents. Hey everyone, and welcome inside Yankee Stadium for an all-new BP All Access. I am your host, Meredith Morakovitz, and we have a big show for you, and it gets no bigger than the Yankees ace, Max Fried. Max, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Hey, you look at the Yankees to start the season. First month, 15-10, tied with the Tigers for the best record in the American League. What's your impression of this team to start?
I mean, obviously, we're extremely talented. We got really great players, and we've been able to have some really good wins. I would say that we're probably not playing our best baseball, but it's still early, and we're excited to keep playing and kind of righting whatever wrongs we have, making those adjustments, and going out there winning more ball games.
One guy that is playing unbelievable baseball is Aaron Judge, a robust .415 batting average. Just what have you thought of what you've seen from him on a daily basis?
I mean, it's incredible to be able to see him perform at the level that he has over, from afar, and then being able to see it on a daily basis. It's just a little different. Teams are coming in, targeting him, and not having him, be the guy to beat you, and pitching him carefully, and he's still doing what he's doing. So to be able to kind of have that kind of impact and, just do it on both sides of the ball. He's been able to make some big plays in the outfield and also some really big base running plays. So just all-around player, and, it's been a pleasure to watch so far.
Be honest with me. How happy are you that you don't have to face him anymore?
It definitely it makes things a lot easier, not having to go up there and worry about a ball coming back at you, 120 miles an hour.
3 for 9. You did strike him out 3 times, though.
I mean, it's not a walk in the park, I'll tell you that.
As far as your performance is concerned to start the year, 5 starts. You'll get the ball tomorrow in Game 2 of the series. You're pitching to a sub-2 ERA. What's been working for you on the mound? What's the common thread?
I'm just really able to mix it up. I'm working really well with Austin, really well with JC. I've had some really big defensive plays behind me, and just being able to trust those guys, creating weak contact and getting us in the dugout as quick as possible. But for me, it's just I've been comfortable, I've been confident, and just really excited to get out there every 5th, 6th day.
You mentioned defensive plays. You've made some of them as well. Chandler Simpson in Tampa, they call him the fastest man in baseball. That was called up. You got him running to first. 3-time Gold Glove winner. What makes you such a good fielder? How are you able to become such a good fielder on the mound?
I would probably credit it a lot to just me playing a position growing up. I was very much an outfielder, first baseman, and then would pitch as well. And then so just being able to be a baseball player, fielding my position, fielding ground balls, being able to just kind of make those throws. It's something that I really prided myself on early in my baseball career, and just tried to make sure that it was an important part.
Hey, pitching is your craft, but we did a little bit of digging, and we know that you could hit a little bit as well. 2021 Silver Slugger Award winner. Do you miss hitting at all?
I do, absolutely. I mean, I don't miss getting tired in the middle of the game and standing on the bases and then having to go straight out to pitch. I don't miss that, but I do miss going up there, swinging the bat. And honestly, it helped me realize on how hard hitting is, and it gives you that perspective of, if you make your pitches, it's really hard.
I mean, you're pretty good out there. Look at that.
Yeah, it's...
Also, I noticed that you picked up your first hit against a current Yankee pitcher, and I need to know, have you let Luke Weaver know about it?
I think we talked about it once, yeah.
What did you say?
I don't even remember how it went. It was just something along the lines, like, we were talking about hitting in general, because he could hit a little bit. He's got a homer. And then talked about how we face each other. And I might have mentioned that was the first one I got. But, I mean, in his defense, it literally landed right inside of the line and the other way, and it was a flare. So, it wasn't like an extremely hard hit or anything.
A young Max Fried there, too, running a first,
Yeah.
getting his first hit on June 30th, 2018. Also, a pretty cool moment happened in spring training. We have the NFL draft in full swing right now, and you were actually on the mound at George M. Steinbrenner Field when Russell Wilson took an at-bat for the New York Yankees. What do you remember about that day?
I remember it being a lose-lose situation. I remember I had to come in and I'm expected to strike him out, and if I let it in play, it's a win. And I also know that if I give up a hit, that it would be shown for forever. So it was, I was definitely nervous and wanted to make sure that I got him out. Threw him a lot of fastballs, but he took a really big, healthy hack early. So I was trying to make sure that I wasn't on a highlight reel on the wrong end of it.
5 pitches, struck him out. You got the job done. We're running out of time here, but we do have a little bit of time for a segment we call Around the Bases, where we'll throw some stuff your way and just give us, a somewhat of a quick answer. And I had Aaron Judge on for the first show.
Okay.
And I asked him, who is the best style on the team? And he said you. Where does your style come from? He said you.
That's a lie.
You know what? I saw that coat that you wore in Detroit, a faux fur North Face coat. Here we go. This is it. Styling, profiling.
Yikes.
So I'm going to turn
that is all my girlfriend. She helps pick out the pieces, and now I just kind of wear it, but she helps me a lot.
Now I'll turn the question on you. Who do you think has the best style in that clubhouse?
Oh wow. I would probably say Stro or Jazz. I think they've got some really good style, and I definitely like what they wear when they come in.
They also have great jewelry as well. I've noticed.
Very nice jewelry.
If you weren't a baseball player, what would you be doing?
Wow, it's a good question. My first thing would be I played basketball, so I would have probably tried to see if that worked, but there's no way. I probably would have gone to school and gone into some sort of. I really like the stock market and stuff like that, so I'd probably lean a little bit more into business, maybe in that kind of realm. But I didn't have to think too hard about that. I picked baseball right out of high school, so I didn't really have to make that decision.
Hey, it's worked out pretty well for you, I think we can all say.
Can't complain right now.
Okay, if you're going to FaceTime a teammate, who is most likely to pick up your FaceTime?
Right now, I'll probably say Belly or Matzik.
And who would be least likely to pick up the phone?
Oh man.
Now we're gonna get you in trouble.
I know, you're gonna get me in trouble. I haven't had to call anyone and no one to be able to pick up, so I'm going to say to be determined.
Very, very safe answer we got out of him there. Hey, what's your favorite thing about pitching in the Bronx?
Just the energy. I mean, this place is special. You go out there and you feel the energy and you just feel the electricity, to be able to pitch and have the roll call go on behind you. It's pretty special.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on the mound tomorrow in Game 2 of the 3-game set with the Blue Jays. Max, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Meredith.
We're going to take a quick step aside. When we get back, an all-new Mayor on the Move. Ever wonder what it's like to be a minor leaguer? Well, we'll take a trip to the Himes Complex next and find out.
Yankees batting practice today is presented by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Getting to the majors is an incredibly tough task. Oftentimes, players spend years toiling in the minors waiting for their big opportunity. Today, we're at the Yankees minor league complex where we're going to get a closer look on what life is like as a minor leaguer. Welcome to this week's Mayor on the Move. start our workout before we fuel up. So typically, what do guys eat in a day?
Yeah, so we're going to go through a bunch of different things. So normally we have our nutrition center set up just like how we would have them go through things. So what they need to take pre-workout, what they need to hydrate with, what they need if they need some additional carbohydrates, if they haven't had a great breakfast in the morning, and then kind of what their vitamins are. So some of the big things that we usually recommend all of our guys take: creatine, collagen, really big for joints, tendon, ligament health. And so we will take a scoop of this and kind of put this into their shaker cup. All of these things are unflavored, and guys like flavor, just anything without water. So we'll usually kind of go through and just start with a drip drop or a precision hydration. So this is kind of our pre-workout, like kind of good start, and then we can add additional things.
Anything in particular that you stay away from when it comes to kind of getting guys ready pre-workout?
I think it's all going to be really individualized. I think that's a really big thing that we really do here is we try to individualize nutrition that's customizable to them. We'll meet with every guy when they get here for spring training and just go through, like, what have you taken in the past? What are you on currently? What did you do in the off season? So it's a lot of questions that we'll go through. We do also test like for biomarkers, so different vitamin D. We'll look at their cholesterol levels, and so we can also go through that, just saying like these are what you need to take when we go through our vitamins.
Just so we're clear, I drink that and I can hit like Aaron Judge, right? That's what happens here. All right, let's dive into how guys train and how they get themselves ready for games. Guys, when you get a new player, what's the first thing you do to try to put them on the optimal program?
Yeah, so first steps, whether it's you showing up or Dietrich's first day here, we're going to take them through a multi-point assessment. We're going to have them go behind the green screen. We're going to get measurements on them. That way we can get good projected data to see how far they have to grow. We're going to do a lot of goniometry measurements, put them in front of cameras, and then once we're done with that, we'll sit down with the player, talk about how they previously trained before, what do they like, what don't they like, look at all the data points, look at what their archetype is, and then how are we going to structure the workout for best development from that player.
We have a lot of strength coaches and trainers here that can, just help oversee the player's performance and also their development here, specifically in the weight room. I think with the technology and the space and the facilities, we give our players the optimum opportunity to just get better each and every day in this environment. We chart everything as far as what kind of weights guys are using and using on a daily basis, just so we can kind of see a constant progression. That's what we're all about, whether it's quick, small, whatever. As long as we're kind of continuing to see an upward trend, that's what we're after on our way to the major leagues here.
Have you ever worn sleeves?
No. This year's Sleeveless Society, we like to nominate some guys that we've noticed that have gone above and beyond, not just on the field, but in the training facility, whether it's with our trainers here, with our nutrition department, just that have excelled from last year until this year, and we like to incentivize, but also give them the opportunity to also go sleeveless in the gym. One thing we have here with the Yankees are a lot of great coaches, and a lot of them. It's almost, I wouldn't say one coach to each player, but it's close. We have a lot of people, and it just helps. More hands and just better ability to help guys get better.
When you talk about reps, especially turning double plays, they make it look so easy, especially in the majors, right?
Yeah.
It's not that easy, right?
No, it's not that easy. It takes a lot of repetitions. It takes a lot of practice. The comfortability of knowing where guys like the ball, how they're going to deliver the ball. So the more that you can play with guys, the better that you're going to become turning those double plays.
It is finally go time. The Blue Jays to the stadium. We now welcome Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to our set. Vladdy, new contract, $500 million, 14 years. Can you just describe what it felt like when you actually signed that deal?
I mean, I feel good, thank God first, and I always believe in myself, and I always believe in God, and that feel release, when you sign that contract, feel release and made me feel happy.
I was going to ask you, how stressful was that process for you, especially having it get done during the season?
It's a little bit stressful, but after that, you feel fine, you feel good, and you have to trust the process, and believe in God, and thank God we did it.
What's the first thing you bought?
Not yet, I don't buy nothing yet, but I got to do my mom's house in the yard.
Oh, that would be so lovely. How nice are you? The best son ever.
Yeah, you know, it's for me that is one of the first thing I'm gonna do, and we're starting to do like couple weeks ago.
Hey, you don't sign a contract like that if you don't put in the work and have the numbers to do so. Just how validating was it for you, for the Blue Jays, to show that love back to you?
I mean, for me, it's amazing. You know, we work for that, and especially in this team I have all my life here. You know, and you sign with this team for me is a lot. You know, and my family liking here. You know, and to me, if my family like the city, I'm with them. So if my family likes something, I gotta go with them.
Does it allow you to relax a little bit as well, not having to think about that, knowing you're set for the next 14 years?
Yeah, it's different. You know, it's different. You come into the ballpark, it's different. You know, you come into put on work, try to help the team to win. So you don't have to think about it then next year, what team I'm gonna be or what team is gonna sign me. You know, it's different when you sign the contract and you know you're gonna be all your life with one team.
Let's talk about your team this season. You guys are going through a little bit of a rough patch. What's been going on with your team?
You know, we got ups and downs, you know, and this is baseball, you know, but we believe in each other, and we always come outside to compete, you know, and we only do what I can control, just play hard every day. And to me, when we play hard every day and we come in positive every day, something can happen.
How are you feeling in particular at the plate right now?
You know, I'm feeling good, you know. It's tough road 3 in Houston, but we flushed that, you know, and started new today and try to catch up the other team we pass in the league.
Throughout your career, you have hit well here in the Bronx. The Yankees fans don't want to hear it, but what do you think it is about the Bronx that at times brings out the best in you?
I think it's like, you know, I grew up coming in here, you know, watch my dad playing here, you know, and to me it's like, when I come here, I feel like we in Dominican, you know, it's a lot of Dominican people here, you know, and I think it's like, I don't know, I just like playing here.
You mentioned your dad. How instrumental has he been throughout the entire process in you becoming a professional baseball player?
Good, you know, he always with me all the time. He called me every day after and before the game, you know, it doesn't matter if I go 4 for 4 or 0 for 4, you know, to me it's like catch up and everything, how my mind feel, how my body feel, and how's everybody in the yard.
How cool was that he got to throw the first pitch to you? Did you tell him about that pitch? What'd you think of it?
No, I just saw him try to throw a strike, and he say I'm a little bit older now, so I'm gonna try to get into you.
What's your favorite memory of watching him when you were growing up? Because I know you were around the ballpark all the time.
I say when he won the Derby, 2007. If I remember, yeah, 2007 San Francisco.
And what's the biggest part, aside from being there supportive, of advice that he's given you that stuck with you?
I say stay humble, respect your teammate, respect the other team, and play hard.
You also do a great job giving back to the community. Why was it important for you to start your foundation and really be a part of that?
I grew up, you know, my dad doing that, and when you saw your dad doing all that good stuff, you gotta keep going, and to me it's like showing my kid to when the time comes, you gotta do the same thing.
Now, you're obviously the big slugger on your side, but the Yankees have a guy by the name of Aaron Judge. I'm sure you've heard of him. What have you thought to his start of the season?
I mean, he's one of the best, you know, he's one of the best in this league, and we can see and he call up, you know, he's one of the guy you always try to follow him, follow the step, you know, and look at it like a legend, like he is.
Thank you so much for the time, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you the rest of the season. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Plenty more to come here on BP All Access. When we get back, we are going to have some final thoughts right here from Yankee Stadium. On BP All Access, it is time for one of my favorite parts of the show, My Yankee Way. It is where we visit with you, Yankees fans, to find out how you earned your pinstripes. This week's My Yankee Way takes us to Babe Ruth Plaza, where Lexi is standing by.
So I became a Yankees fan because I'm an only child and my dad is a single father, and his thing was always baseball growing up, so he became just a huge Yankees fan through that, and so that became my thing because that's what him and I do together. That's what we're doing right now. So through him, that's kind of just where I got it from. My earliest memory of being a Yankee fan was when I was about 3 or 4. I came to a Yankees game, my first Yankees game, and my dad, it was about the top of the 8th inning, and my dad was like, okay, like, we're ready to leave, you know, beat the traffic, whatnot, and I kept telling him, no, 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 I'm not leaving until this game's over. So from then on, I kind of knew baseball was my thing. Derek Jeter was my favorite player just because of how he carried himself as a player, but also someone off of the field, and how he really just became such a great presence for Yankees fans, but also baseball as a whole. My current favorite player is Aaron Judge just because of how, you know, how good he is, but also how he's such a great leader, such a great captain.
Lexi, Aaron Judge, great choice and an easy choice. We'll get to that in just a minute. But if you'd like to be featured on an upcoming My Yankee Way, email us at features@yesnetwork.com. Speaking of Aaron Judge, he is in tonight's lineup. He will bat second. And take a look at his offensive numbers through 25 games this season. He ranks first in just about every major offensive category. He has been outstanding to start the year for the Yankees. Not to mention, he has reached base in 21 consecutive games. He's going to try to continue that today. Obviously, the top of the order doing very well for the Yankees. Now they need to get some of those guys in the bottom of the order moving as well. That is going to do it for this edition of BP All Access. We hope you enjoyed the show. It is going to be the pregame when we get back. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry getting you set for Yankees Blue Jays tonight in the Bronx. Thanks for watching us, and then it'll be Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill with the call of the game. We'll see you next time right here on BP All Access.
Really good pitching staff, you know, as usual. You know, guys we're very familiar. We're going to see 3 guys that we see a lot this series that are really good starters, a good bullpen. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs or haven't really been hitting the ball out of the ballpark a lot, but you kind of scratch the surface a little bit, and it probably looks like they've actually swung the bats better than their run production would say. So they're coming off a tough series, but you know, anytime you play the Blue Jays, they're capable on both sides of the ball of, you know, whether it's pitching or swinging the bats of doing really good things. So the way I look at it is a really tough opponent that we're very familiar with, you know, coming into town.
Lace them up because it's hockey jersey giveaway night in the Bronx, and the puck drops in a little more than a half hour. Ben Rice played a lot of hockey as a kid, but he's proven to be pretty darn good at this baseball thing as well. Tonight, he and the Bombers will go swing for swing with Vladdy Jr. and an American League East rival. Let's get you ready for the New York Yankees hosting the Toronto Blue Jays on a Friday night at Yankee Stadium. We certainly hope you're having a great night as we welcome you to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. First to 3, Yankees and Blue Jays. Yanks coming off a week on the road, and they come back home looking for that good home cooking, get in a rhythm. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
And once you get home, you feel comfortable in your own stadium. I'm feeling comfortable that you're too far away to give me a hip check after that hockey opening that you gave us.
Not too far.
You're pretty far away. But for the Yankees, that whole idea of being comfortable means taking care of business. And you have the Blue Jays, a team that is struggling. Only 9 runs in the Blue Jays' last 5 games. So for Carrasco, it's about going out there and trying to continue to do what other pitchers have done to that Blue Jays lineup, be able to neutralize it. And anytime we talk about the Yankees, Bob, we have to talk about Aaron Judge. He has been on a remarkable streak. He's reached base in 21 straight games. He's putting up unbelievable numbers. And guess what? Against tonight's starter, Jose Barrios, he has 5 home runs in his career. So that is a matchup we'll be paying very close attention to.
So I mentioned the Yankees were on the road for a week, but Jack, they were that first gauntlet of a season, 13 straight games before they got the break yesterday. And over that span, they went 8-5. Starters ERA was a little north of 4. Bullpen was good. They scattered around some hits. They didn't go crazy hitting home runs, although they hit a couple games they had them in bunches. What was your takeaway from that stretch?
I think anytime you have one of those gauntlets, Bob, you want to be able to get through it and feel that you kept your head above water. And that's what the Yankees did. 8-5 across 13 games is strong. And what I look at is who are the players who contributed the most? Well, obviously, you go to Judge, Goldschmidt, Rice, and even Grisham. But then you look for the players who haven't given the Yankees what they need so far offensively. And I'm sure Aaron Boone is sitting in that dugout saying, okay, we have more coming from those players. The starters have stabilized themselves. Fried has been phenomenal. Rodon's last 2 starts have been really strong. And what jumps out from that graphic, the bullpen ERA. The bullpen has been terrific. Devin Williams still has to find his footing at the end of games. We might see him throwing that changeup less whenever he does get back into a game. But I think the Yankees are happy with that 8-5.
Well, let's go back to the offense for a second, because prior to the game today, Aaron Boone was asked about how he thinks the offense is performing top to bottom.
Keep playing them. It's baseball. I mean, guys are going to be hot. Guys are going to be cold. You know, some of the guys that are off to slower starts are all guys that are very capable and will get it going. And, you know, there'll be times when they're running hot and carrying things. And but you're just working hard. Whether you're going good or whether you're scuffling a little bit, you're always just, you know, trying to put the best of bats together you can.
How do you balance that, putting a guy out there every day and then in some cases maybe giving a guy a day to kind of clear their head and get right?
Yeah, you do. You try and pay attention to it and try and do what's best for the club and for the player, and, you know, just try and get a feel where guys are at, and while trying as best you can to keep guys fresh and regular reps and things like that. So, I mean, that's just, you try and keep your finger on the pulse all the time.
Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that Aaron Boone has penciled in for tonight's series opener. Comes your way courtesy of Toyota. Trent Grisham back off the paternity leave list, and in the leadoff spot, he's batting .320 on the season. Paul Goldschmidt, over his last 8, he has a .452 average, hits in every one of those games. And as for Aaron Judge, a .382 hitter in his career against Barrios. But now Grisham in that leadoff spot where we've seen Goldschmidt and Rice a lot, so kind of slides everybody down and maybe takes, is it possible, a little heat off some of the guys who haven't performed at the bottom of that order?
It's possible, but the Yankees do need the bottom of the order to produce as well. But I look at the first 4 in that order, Bob, and we just mentioned them earlier in our show. If you're looking for the hitters who have given the Yankees the most this season, it's those 4. And I think we should shine a little bit of the spotlight on Ben Rice. By hitting third tonight, Bob, he has now completed the all 9 in the lineup quandary. Is that what I want to say about that? He's only played, this will be his 73rd game as a major league hitter. He's already hit in every possible lineup spot, and I think he deserves so much credit for what he did in the offseason, coming back bigger, stronger, and smarter, and now mashing the ball with the elite in Major League Baseball, hitting the baseball as hard as anyone. We've seen what the OPS has been for him, and this could be a good matchup for him tonight as well. Against right-handed pitchers this year, his slugging percentage almost 700.
Now, meantime, you look at a player like Anthony Volpe. 2 games ago, he had a couple of hits, and we thought, is this the start of another one of those little runs for him like he had at the start of the season? And, Jack, it doesn't seem like it's been that way, so this homestand might be good for him to try and get those wheels turning again.
Yeah, and I understand what Boone said about it's baseball. You want to run your guys out there every day. The way to get through a slump is to get more at-bats. Boone could have pivoted off yesterday's off day and given Anthony Volpe a day today and just called it a couple of days, give the kid a little bit of a rest. If fatigue was a factor, which it shouldn't be this early in the season, maybe get him off his feet. But Boone is telling Anthony Volpe, listen, I believe in you. Across the last 17 games, Bob, the batting average is under 150, and one of the problems has been four-seam fastballs. He's 5 for 26 against four-seam fastballs. I thought our colleague John Flaherty did a great breakdown of what ailed Volpe in that 0 for 5 game with 4 strikeouts. He talked about how he was opening up his hips. His lower half was opening up too soon, and when that happens, you're going to have a swing path that is not true. He's opening up too early instead of stepping toward the pitcher and getting beat on those high fastballs. And, Bob, he knows That's what pitchers are trying to do to him. Tampa Bay did that a lot, so let's see what kind of adjustment Volpe makes.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Now let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup tonight that goes up against Carlos Carrasco. Comes your way courtesy of Toyota. Vladdy Jr., 19 homers against the Yankees since 2020. That's second most in the majors behind Rafael Devers. Toronto coming off a 3-1 loss to Houston, so they only had 5 hits in that game, a run. The offense, despite some real top-heavy talent in that lineup, has been down a little bit and has led to an overall team record of 12-13.
Bob, they're averaging about 3.5 runs per game. They only have 13 home runs on the season, which is the second worst in Major League Baseball. So the fact that they're 12-13 with some of those offensive numbers, I think they should actually feel thankful about that. Bichette has not hit a home run in 56 games. Vladdy Guerrero, who just talked to Meredith Marakovitz on the BP show, only has 1 home run this season. Santander, a big offseason free agent acquisition, only has 2 home runs. You heard Boone at the top of the show talking about how they're a better offense than they have shown. Yes, they absolutely are. But what Carrasco and the Yankees are trying to do tonight, and what the Yankees are trying to do all weekend, is keep them smothered, keep that offense silent, and try and get yourself through the weekend.
Before we go to break, I want to remind you the New York Yankee Foundation's 50-50 raffle is now open. During every home game at Yankee Stadium, one lucky fan wins half the pot, and the other half is donated to the New York Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at yankees.com/5050. Well, this series features a couple of homegrown face of the franchise sluggers. Aaron Judge off to an historic start, and after agreeing to a deal, Vladdy Jr. will be in a Blue Jays uniform for years to come. We'll talk about them next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. This is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com.
All season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And hey, don't forget the Gotham Sports app is your home, your new home for streaming live Yankees games and so much more. And it is free with your eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now or visit gothamsports.com to get streaming and maybe check out the latest episode of Jack Curry's Yankees News and Views podcast. That just dropped, and it's got Andy Pettitte.
Bob, I first interviewed Andy Pettitte in 1995, and we actually talked about that on the podcast. That's a lot of conversations about baseball, and what always has stood out to me about Andy, he's honest and he's affable. We talked about his role with the Yankees. He was in spring training. He talks to Yankee pitchers. He had a lot to say about Max Fried. He's also going to be the pitching coach for Team USA. He's very excited about that. But maybe the most excited he got, Bob, is when I put him back on the mound, so to speak, and he talked about those October games, pitching with those legendary Yankee teams, and just what he felt he needed to do to help those Yankee teams win a World Series title. Oh, we also talked about CC Sabathia, and Andy also talked about his own Hall of Fame candidacy.
Wow, so a lot to cover. Again, Yankees News and Views. You can download it anywhere you get your podcasts. In the meantime, let's go back to tonight's game and the two big centerpieces of these teams and the franchise players in Aaron Judge and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And just this sort of, it's not a matchup head-to-head, but it's always fun to watch these at-bats.
It really is, and you look at Judge and the fact that when he debuted with the Yankees, Bob, he was 24 years old. He had 3 years of college under his belt. He struggled in that first season with the Yankees, and he hasn't struggled since. We saw him set a rookie record for home runs that Pete Alonso then eclipsed. We saw him hit 62 home runs to set an American League record. We saw him hit 58 last year when he had a rough start to the season. And then this year, Bob, we've seen power, but we've also seen a guy who's just an elite hitter. And the discipline stands out so much for me that Judge goes up there with a plan. He understands what pitchers are trying to do to him, and he makes sure that he covers all parts of the plate and not allowing them to do that.
Digest whichever of these numbers you want, but this season he has a .415 average, over 500 on-base percentage, 38 homers against the Blue Jays going into the series, most since 2017. And again, the average and the slug, 6th Yankee all-time with that through 25 team games. And over that road trip, Jack, you and I were constantly talking. I'd hit you with, he was on base multiple times. He had multi-hit games. He is just getting, all he wants to do is hit, get on base, and leave it up to his teammates to knock him in.
Right. We have to remember when we're pointing out some of these numbers, too, is we mention the names of the players who have preceded him. Some of the players who did a 400 batting average and a 700 slugging percentage. Oh, Lou Gehrig, Bill Dickey, Dave Winfield. Paul O'Neill, our colleague, is one who has done that. So there's so many things that Judge is doing right. And we always talk about when you go into the offseason, what do you want to be better at coming into the next season? And Judge clearly decided that he did not want to have another slow start to 2024. He has come out and reminded everyone why he is the best player in baseball. And he has started his assault towards back-to-back MVPs. That's how great he has been.
All right, now for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you mentioned just 1 home run so far. Probably not off to the start that he wants, obviously. Maybe a little bit of that was tied to some of his in-season contract negotiations, but we know that he has teed off against the Yankees, and maybe he looks at this series as, hey, I'm in the Bronx, I want to do some damage.
Yeah, he always has good at-bats and good games against the Yankees. His season numbers so far don't look like Vladdy numbers, but I'm sure the Blue Jays are confident that he will get there. Talking about that contract, Bob, you and I have discussed this on air. The Blue Jays needed to sign Vladimir Guerrero. He debuted with them as a 20-year-old. He was born in Canada. He wanted to stay with their franchise. I think it would have been a major whiff for the Blue Jays if they didn't figure out a way to sign him. They did, and now the question becomes, okay, what's next? You always want to look at a team and say, what's their identity? I feel as if the Blue Jays have been an identity-less team for the last few seasons. Even when they have made the playoffs, boom, they've been knocked out very quickly. So with the centerpiece being Vladdy, where does this team go from here?
Well, Carlos Carrasco is going to have to deal with Vladdy and the rest of the Blue Jays tonight. Coming up on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, we're going to break down what to expect as the veteran righty gets the ball for another start. Stick around.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today. Show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
It's time for the pregame odds segment presented by FanDuel. The Bombers are back in the Bronx and ready for a clash against the AL East rival Blue Jays. For a same-game parlay, let's go with Cody Bellinger to record at least 2 total bases and Oswaldo Cabrera and Trent Grisham to each knock a hit. That parlay comes in at plus 620. Right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Back here on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, where it will be the start of a quick 3-game homestand against the Blue Jays in the Bronx. For a look at tonight's weather forecast, here's Optimum News 12.
Hey Yankees fans, I'm News 12 meteorologist Hope Aselka with your game day forecast, and the Yankees are right at home here in the Bronx. Here's how it's looking at first pitch. You'll see a few peaks of sunshine. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s. It's pleasant, it's cool by the 7th inning, and by the ride home, the winds start picking up, and that's getting us ready for some rain overnight. So what's your moodcast? How does this weather make you feel? Let us know at News 12 The Bronx. Enjoy the game. Back to you.
Hope, thank you for that. Carlos Carrasco taking the mound tonight, coming off an outing against Tampa Bay, Jack, in which he gave up 6 hits and 4 runs. Gave him 4 innings, 75 pitches. The one prior to that was a much better outing. He gave up just a run, so he's a little bit of a roller coaster ride right now.
And that graphic right there is very interesting. You see the first time through the order and what the numbers jump to after that. It shows you that Carrasco has enough skill and enough savvy to get batters one time, but what can he do to get them a second time, Bob? And it's about being precise with your stuff. Interestingly enough, he's got a reverse split. He's handled lefties this year. Why? Because the changeup has been elite. Batters are 2 for 19 against it. He has not handled righties as well. They're 8 for 19 against the slider. So it's the pitches that he used against those two opposite side batters. Let's see if the slider can be a factor tonight.
Let's dig into those numbers a little more. StatCast 3D, presented by Google Cloud, takes a look at the repertoire for Blue Jay starter Jose Barrios on the flip side. And it's mostly a 4-pitch mix, but the righty will show the occasional cutter. The sinker's about 93, and he backs it up with the slurve. But again, some hitters so far against Barrios have teed off on some of those pitches.
They have. His best pitch this year has been the slurve. Batters are hitting 172 against it. Against everything else, the slugging percentage is almost 600. So I always see him, Bob, as a very athletic and a very competitive pitcher with a lot of pitches in his arsenal. But look at his numbers against the Yankees. It has been a slog for him. We mentioned earlier that Judge has good numbers against him. Judge hits 382 against him with 5 home runs. We'll dig in a little more on that later, but it's going to be a challenge for Barrios to stop those top 4 in the Yankee lineup.
Well, Max Fried is going to get to start in Game 2 of the series tomorrow, and earlier he joined Meredith Marakovits on BP All Access. And in our Ford Clubhouse report, the Yankees ace talked about what he's seen from Aaron Judge so far.
It's incredible to be able to see him perform at the level that he has over, from afar, and then being able to see it on a daily basis. It's just a little different. Teams are coming in, targeting him and not having him, be the guy to beat you, and pitching him carefully, and he's still doing what he's doing. So to be able to kind of have that kind of impact and, just do it on both sides of the ball. He's been able to make some big plays in the outfield and also some really big base running plays. So just all-around player, and, it's been a pleasure to watch so far.
Be honest with me. How happy are you that you don't have to face him anymore?
It definitely it makes things a lot easier, not having to go up there and worry about a ball coming back at you, 120 miles an hour.
3 for 9. You did strike him out 3 times, though.
I mean, it's not a walk in the park, I'll tell you that.
One last break before we put this edition of the FanDuel Yankees pregame on ice. We'll get Jack's key to the game for this hockey night in the Bronx, so stick around.
Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Let's check out the Morgan & Morgan injury report. DJ LeMahieu in a couple games with AA Summer has set 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. He's scheduled to play back-to-back Saturday and Sunday again with the AA team as he comes back from that left calf strain. Well, Jack, let's dig a little deeper into Judge versus Barrios. You mentioned he has 5 homers. Well, what's he seeing for Barrios?
He's seeing sinkers and changeups that he has taken out of the ballpark. In this package, Bob, we're not going to see any of the slurve. That would seem to be the one pitch that Barrios has that he could use to conquer Judge. But, of course, you got to get into the right count to use it. And as we talked about, Judge is very disciplined at the plate, so you better throw it for a strike because it's unlikely that he will stray out of the zone and chase.
Judge has an on-base streak of 21 straight games. So would you tilt more towards offense or pitching in your key to the game?
I'm going back towards pitching. You took care of all of the hockey early in the show. I'm going with a bullpen brigade. The Yankees would love to see Carlos Carrasco get into the middle of this game with a lead. But remember, they're not asking Carrasco to do a ton. If he gave them 5 strong innings, suddenly they could unleash Leiter, Cruz, Weaver, Williams, and feel good about themselves.
Get you out to the stadium after this. Michael K. Paul O'Neill with the call. Meredith reporting, and Jack and I will see you on the post game. Enjoy it. Game 1, Yanks and Blue Jays next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
It's a beautiful Friday evening at the corner of 161st Street and River Avenue, where it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the first game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. The Blue Jays coming to town, having lost 5 in a row. The Yankees just finished their road trip. They were 4-3. So how do we start this one? We started with pitching. It's the Home Depot getting it done pitching matchup. The veteran Carlos Carrasco will get the start for the Yankees, and for the Blue Jays, it's Jose Barrios, the right-hander. And because he's a right-hander, Yankees have a pretty good lefty bat that they added to the lineup.
Well, what a year for Trent Grisham. I mean, he's getting an opportunity in baseball. Just got back from having his first child. So far this year, so good. Had a good spring, but all of a sudden he's become an offensive force in this lineup. He's always been a defensive specialist. 6 home runs so far this year, only 9 of all last year, but this is what he really does. I mean, he brings defense. He's as good as anybody in the American League, but he's helping on the offensive side of the game also.
I'll tell you what, the offensive side is pretty good. 20 games he's played, 320, 6 home runs, 13 ribbies, scoring 12 runs, an OPS of 1.093. Well, the Blue Jays are in town, and the modern-day Yankee killer is that guy, Vlad Guerrero. He punishes the Bombers, and now he has a lot of money, a big money contract he signed with the Blue Jays. He sat down with Meredith Marakovich to talk about his domination of the Yankees. Next.
It is a beautiful night for baseball in the Bronx as the Yankees welcome the Toronto Blue Jays for the first of a 3-game series. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovich. The Blue Jays made news throughout Major League Baseball when they inked their star slugger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a 14-year, $500 million extension. Vladdy was kind enough to join me on BP All Access, where he spoke about that deal.
It's amazing, you know, we work for that, and especially in this team I have all my life here, you know, and you sign with this team for me is a lot, you know, and my family like him here, you know, and to me, if my family like the city, I'm with them, so if my family likes something, I gotta go with them.
Does it allow you to relax a little bit as well, not having to think about that, knowing you're set for the next 14 years?
Yeah, it's different, you know, it's different. You come into the ballpark, it's different, you know, you come into put in work, try to help the team to win, so you don't have to think about it then next year, what team I'm going to be or what team is going to sign me, you know, it's different when you sign the contract and you know you're going to be all your life in one team.
Guerrero Jr.'s had a little bit of a slow start from a power perspective. He's managed just 1 home run this season, but in speaking to Aaron Boone, he knows this Blue Jays offense could get going at any time. The Yankees will try to do their job, starting with Carlos Carrasco, who will get the ball next, right here on Yes.
Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. By Tunnel to Towers, donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. By Monitor Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And by Hyundai, with a brand new Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. Vlad Guerrero getting ready to take his hats against Carlos Carrasco. The Yankees have taken the field. And we'll take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup. Bichette leads off, then Guerrero and Santander. Cleaning up, George Springer off to a great start. Andres Jimenez, Alejandro Kirk. That rounds out the middle. Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, and Nathan Lucas, a left fielder, will bat ninth. Here's Carrasco and his numbers: 20 and 2/3 innings, 15 strikeouts, 6.53. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report.
Well, it's been a little up and down. Couple good starts, couple rough starts. Yankees are 2-2 in his 4 starts, but he is your 5th starter and a good opportunity. He's facing the Jays when they are really struggling offensively, just not putting any runs across the plate. And changeup, get ahead and get to his changeup by far his best pitch. Hitters this year are 2 for 19 with no extra base hits.
Bichette's ready. Carrasco's ready. Now let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike. We're underway. John Tumpane, the home plate umpire. Brennan Miller at first. Chris Conroy at second. And Jeremy Rehack is over third. Conroy is the crew chief. Grounded foul. Here's the Yankee defense. Bellinger in left, Grisham in center, Judge over and right. Infield third to first, Cabrera, Volpe, Chisholm, and Goldschmidt. Austin Wells behind the plate. Ben Rice is the DH, and Carrasco is on the mound. 1-2. Well, the Blue Jays have trouble scoring runs, and they have trouble hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They have 13 home runs on the season. That's 29th in baseball. Only Kansas City has fewer with 12. That one's looped into center field, and it's going to be a base hit in front of Grisham. It's time now for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, Belly of the East. This series starts 9 consecutive games against the American League East. Always important. You got these 3, then you go 3 in Baltimore, then the Rays come visit the Yankees here in the Bronx, and all 9. This is interesting, Michael. Ben Rice is hitting third tonight. First time in his career. Now, he has hit in all 9 spots in his short career. In 8th and 9th, one thing the Blue Jays do well, if you allow them to get a lead, they're back into their bullpen. But Jimmy Garcia and closer Jeff Hoffman are really good.
Here's Guerrero, newly minted. He signed a 14-year, $500 million extension on April 9th. And not only did he sign that contract, Paul, $325 million of it was a bonus.
A bonus?
Can you imagine getting that check?
Up front?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And then the tax man coming to your door too, right?
Well, he lives in Florida.
And Michael, I know what you're thinking. What did he buy first when he inked that deal? And he said nothing yet. He's waiting. He's going to buy his mom a house in the Dominican Republic. Talk about #1 son, right?
I love it.
Well, it is getting close to Mother's Day, Meredith. You know, we might as well get it done.
I like that.
I think with that kind of loot, he can buy her a nice house.
Yeah. Like half the island.
2-2. Santander is on deck. Bichette leads off first, held there by Goldschmidt. Swing and a miss. Got him on the slider. Guerrero down on strikes.
Well, these are big outs. You know, Carrasco, for him to get ahead in the count where he can use the slider and he can use that changeup. These are big innings. Aaron Boone, you know, needs to get him to the middle of the game. Pitches like this will do it.
Here is Santander. Had 44 home runs for the Orioles last year. Became a free agent. Signed a 5-year, $92.5 million deal, but 3/4 of that deal is deferred. So the actual value of the deal is $68.6 million.
So we can't buy his mom a house yet. He's got to wait for the deferred money to come in. Is that what you're saying?
Could be.
Yeah, well, they brought him over here. You talked about the numbers last year. All-Star last year, Silver Slugger, and again, just off to a very slow start like the rest of this offense.
Let's check out the scouting report on John Tumpane. Pitcher friendly, but heading toward neutral. More outside strikes, more inside strikes on righty batters. And John's in his 16th major league season. Paul, I got to be honest. I think he might have the best hair of any umpire in baseball.
I saw him down there. He's like Justin Shacklish, you know. It's like, wow, down there at home plate.
It doesn't do justice with a helmet on it, but a mane of hair.
Should be the only umpire would allow without a helmet.
1-2. Look at Tumpane. Look at him.
That almost looks like a wig. There's so much hair.
That is some nice hair. Grounded at third. Over the Volpe 1. will play. Score at 5-6-3. And the Blue Jays don't score. Yankees coming back. Well, the Blue Jays don't score. And there's a new daddy in the on-deck circle. Son Ezekiel came into the world, and he missed the Cleveland series paternity leave. So all the best to Ezekiel Grisham, who's leading off. His dad's leading off. Aaron Judge in right, Ben Rice to DH. Paul Goldschmidt at first cleans up. Cody Bellinger in left. Jazz Chisholm at second. Anthony Volpe plays short. Austin Wells will catch, and Oswaldo Cabrera at third base. Captain's getting ready. But first, we have to find out about Jose Barrios. This will be a 6-start, 1-1, 5.02. You see the numbers. Let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report.
Boy, digging himself out of a hole. He gave up a big 6 earned runs on opening day. Since then, he's been better, but still over a 5 ERA. Trouble in the Bronx. Career 5.92 ERA at Yankee Stadium. Just has not pitched well here. And tune in for AG. Talking about Aaron Judge.
Popped up behind the plate. Kirk throws away the mask. Now backpedals and makes the catch. Lucas in left, Springer in center, Barger over and right. In the infield, third to first, Clement, Bichette, Jimenez, Guerrero Jr., Kirk behind the plate, Santander the DH.
Well, Michael, let me finish this. You tune in for this at bat. AG Aaron Judge, because career off Barrios, 382 average, 5 home runs, and only 34 at bats. So he's taking care of business against Barrios.
He has a 21-game on-base streak and on base multiple times in 17 of those 21. So on the road trip, he didn't hit a home run. He hit a lot, but he didn't hit a home run, although some would argue he had one in Tampa that's still flying. And then the one in Cleveland, it hit the high wall rather than be 1.5 feet more to the right, and it would have been deep over the center field wall.
Yeah, it was a bomb in Cleveland. That's the deepest part with the highest part of the wall.
And that would have been a home run in 28 of 30 ballparks.
Well, the other one, probably Detroit, huh?
They said it's Arizona.
Oh, Arizona?
Because of that high wall. 2-2.
They said what he hasn't done. What he has done is walk into the batter's box today, hitting .415 with 7 home runs and 26 RBIs. It's pretty good.
Strike 3. Barrios now looking. Check out the game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. It's 68 degrees, no chance of rain. Humidity 57%. The wind blowing from right field to left field.
Rain, not today.
Not today.
I saw that scouting report. I like that.
There's Ben Rice. He's owning right-handed pitching in the early going, hitting .340. 468 on base percentage and OPS of 1.148. Oh, strike. Yesterday was the first off day for the Yankees after playing 13 straight. In that stretch, they were 8-5. Strike 3. Rice knew it. Barrios retires the Yankees in order and rings up 2 strikeouts. We'll go to the second. Well, let's check out FanDuel's live same-game parlay. Well, Carrasco has 1 strikeout in the first inning. We go to the second. George Springer hit .220 last year, hitting .333 toward the end of April. Almost got him. 1-0.
Well, Springer, one of the few guys in this lineup is a swing in the bat. I mean, it's amazing to me. He's been in the baseball. It's his 12th season. It's been 5 already in Toronto. Because 7 in Houston, but it just it seemed like yesterday when he came over to play with the Jays.
You know, you look around this ballpark, this place is jammed. The Yankees have averaged over 41,000 fans per home game. That's their highest average attendance through their first 12 games of a season since Derek Jeter's last season in 2014. They have the highest home attendance in the American League. No one's popped up.
And you remember, Michael, I mean, it was the first couple of weeks. I mean, it was 40 degrees up here, and they were still flocking into the stadium.
That's why I think it's remarkable. I mean, we were sitting up here freezing, and, I mean, they just kept coming in. Great fans. Here's Andres Jimenez. Strike one.
Well, you see his numbers there. They're starting to drop off defensively, or offensively, but not defensively. Coming off 3 straight seasons of winning the Gold Glove.
Fly ball. Grisham. 2 down. Now it's time for the Mohegan Sun team scouting report. Tell us something about the Blue Jays.
Well, we've kind of talked about it. Don't wake them up. They are really struggling offensively. The 6th lowest in all of baseball, only scoring a little bit over 3.5 runs a game. Power outage, you talked about it, Michael. 13 home runs as a team. It's the fewest through 25 games ever in Toronto. And 6-pack, well, they've lost 5 in a row. And in those 5 games, 31-9, they've been outscored. So they have just been struggling offensively, waiting for things to turn around.
You know, just take a quick look at their lineup. Santander came in at 189. Jimenez 194. Kirk's at 211. Barger's 059. And on it goes. And you can live with low batting averages if they're going to hit home runs.
Yeah, they're not doing that either, right?
Rounded and grabbed there by Volpe. Gets up. He's got it. Nice play by the Yankee shortstop. Taking a base hit away from Kirk. So the Blue Jays go down in order. Down to the ground, 360, and fires a strike to Goldschmidt to get Kirk for the final out of the 7th. Well, it's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And tonight's picture is of Ann, 97 years old, and has been a Yankee fan for more than 80 years. She's seen it all from Joe DiMaggio to Aaron Judge. Thank you for watching, Ann. Pretty awesome. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
That's really weird because I looked at the screen because 97 caught my attention because my mother's 97.
Right.
And from a distance, she kind of looked like my mother too.
Really?
Like, wow, what's Mom doing on the tube?
Here's Paul Goldschmidt, 8-game hitting streak. 14 for 31, hitting .452 during that time. 0-1. He's had 12 multi-hit games. He's had 5 games with 3 or more hits. He's everything and more the Yankees could have asked for.
You heard all the people talking about, you know, in last September when he kind of turned it around. You just hope that that kind of, you know, fed into this year. And I don't even know if you could imagine him getting off to a start like this, but it's been great for the Yankees.
1-2 on the Yankee first baseman. Check out Papa John's key ingredients. So during his 8-game hitting streak, his OPS of 1.030. We told you he's hitting .452. So that's not a vitamin hitting streak, one a day. He's getting a lot of hits.
Yeah, he's taking the multivitamin.
1-2. Off the end of the bat, foul back. Barrios, 30 years old. Turned 31 on May 27th. 10th big league season. Fourth season of a 7-year, $130 million extension that he signed. Takes him through the age 34 in 2028. Backhanded by Bichette. The long throw. Got him. So it got past the diving Clement, but Bichette turned it into an out.
Bichette, I mean, if you look at his numbers defensively, he's become a much better shortstop than right when he broke into the major leagues. He's cut his errors, gone from like 40 down to 15. So it's really been an improvement defensively for Bichette.
Here's Cody Bellinger. 3 hits in his last 21 at-bats. 1-0. Grounded foul. Now in his previous start, which was Saturday against Seattle, Barrios accused Cal Raleigh of stealing signs from second base. Had some words from him as they walked off the field, and then the bench is cleared. And I've got a question to ask you, Paul. What was Raleigh doing wrong?
Yeah,
I mean, hide your signs better.
It is part of the game, but you know, I think that pitchers think that every pitch, every player is out there doing it, and I can tell you from the past, some people do try to pick up signs. Most players don't, especially from second base.
And also with the pitch comm, all they could really be picking up is location.
Right.
Swing and a miss. Bellinger down on strikes. Now to bring up Jazz Chisholm Jr. We take a look at the leaders brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Players with 7 or more home runs and 6 or more stolen bases. You've got Tatis, you've got Tucker, Jazz, and Paul O'Neill Cruz.
You like that? Cruz is a big fella too, you know that?
Mm-hmm. Like his namesake. The 0-1. Popped up. Shallow left. Bichette out. Lucas in. Lucas makes the call on the catch. And the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3. 6 in a row retired by Barrios. Well, there's the Blue Jays bench coach, Donald Arthur Mattingly. Obviously with the Yankees from 82 to 95. Addison Barger leads off. So I was lucky enough to do a Q&A with him at a charity function that he ran last night in Manhattan. And I didn't even tell you this before the game because I wanted to get your true reaction. And I asked him, of all the players you played with, who's your favorite players? You were the first guy I brought up.
Really?
And the reason he gave was when Paul got there, it was no joke anymore. People made mistakes. They heard about it. He was only there to win. Then he went on to name guys like Gallego, Spike Owen, Jimmy Key, Boggs. But you were the first guy he named.
I wish you'd have told me earlier. I wouldn't be blushing up here.
What I'm amazed at, Paul, So there were people that paid a certain amount of money because Donnie has a Mattingly's Charities. It goes to underprivileged kids in Evansville. And they're fans of a certain age that he is a god to them.
Yeah.
I mean, and he treated everybody so well. And also a testament to the type of person he is. On an off day in New York, John Snyder and the entire coaching staff stayed there, came and stayed there the entire 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that even from opposing teams, I've never heard a bad thing said about Don Mattingly. You know, I don't care, and there's not a lot of players you can say that about. Even the greatest players, sometimes you just don't like them from the other side of the dugout.
Right.
But I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him.
Grounded to Goldschmidt, beats Barcia to the bag. I did ask him about one thing, and it was before the 1995 playoffs, and some of the highlights here with Donnie, who was just an extraordinary first baseman. And if you remember, Paul, the place was jammed before Game 1 in 95. And he came out to run wind sprints.
Yeah.
And the place just went berserk. They gave him a standing ovation for running in the outfield. And I asked him, did he recall that? He said, yeah, I think about that a lot. He said, you know what happened that day? I felt fast.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't feel my feet touching the ground when the fans did that.
That's when I knew that we weren't playing a season game. It was the playoffs, the lights were brighter, and when Mattingly took the field, the place was shaking. So I just stayed in the dugout and watched it till he got his ovation.
It was
went out
awesome.
and got my sprints in.
It was awesome. Bunted foul.
You know, I knew, on the flight back, that long flight back from Seattle when we ended up losing to them, Cap wasn't coming back, but it just was, you almost had tears in your eyes because you just knew it was something that was gone, whether, we went on a great run. But I always remember what he said. He said, I want to thank you. And I said, why is that? He said, because I always wanted to know how I would play in the playoffs because I was the only one he got to play.
Yep.
And he did great.
Hit over 400. Grounded up the middle. Volpe is there. We'll get Clement. Well, one of the best moments of that series was this home run where Gary Thorne said, hold on to your hats. Hold on to the roof. But this is the home run that Mattingly hit.
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run. Don Mattingly.
Now, when I asked him, did he have more left? He said, oh, yeah. He said, because I finally figured out a way that I didn't have to take that many ground balls, that many swings, and I was able. What you saw in the playoffs was what I was going to be able to do over the next couple of years. And I said, then why'd you retire? He said, I needed my boys to see their dad.
Yeah.
And I said, did you almost ever come back? He said, yeah, Tony La Russa asked me.
No kidding.
A year later, he said, I started to work out a little bit, and they said, no, can't do it. That's past Volpe, a diving Volpe into left field, a base hit for Lucas.
Again, ball hit hard, and I think he was almost kind of blinded by Cabrera going in front of him and ended up getting by him. Ball kind of tailing away from him.
Back to the top of the order, and Bo Bichette.
I do remember, and then we'll go on to the game, and the tribute to Don Mattingly might be over for the night. But the one thing he didn't do good was like speeches. I went to a movie with him once, and I was kind of in a slump. I don't know, 0 for 10 or something. We were in Oakland. Went to a movie, and I'm walking in. Here's Don Mattingly, your team captain. I said, Cap, am I ever going to get a hit? He looked at me and said, with that tired swing, probably not. And just kept walking. I'm standing there thinking, well, you buy the tickets then because that sucked right there.
One thing I noted that there have been 2 times in all times I've been in baseball that I saw an entire team pull for one player. So in 95, that whole team wanted Donnie to get the playoffs. Not for themselves, for him.
Yep.
And then when Judge hit a 60-second home run, the entire team was pulling for him. There was no jealousy. Ground ball is short. They get Bichette, and that'll do it. No runs, an error, a hit, and nobody left. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Buy Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. And by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. Anthony Volpe will lead off. Barrios has retired the first 6 Yankees in order, so we've got the bottom third of the order. Volpe, Wells, and Cabrera. One and 0. Over his last 17 games, Volpe's hitting .138 and has been having trouble with the four-seamer. And the Blue Jay staff throws more four-seamers than any staff in baseball.
I remember Barrios throwing a lot more sliders and breaking balls. It seems like he is going to his fastball more, whether it's a four-seamer or a two-seamer. You know, he used to pretty much, you know, you knew in a count you were going to see some spinning breaking balls.
Fly ball, left field. Lucas reaches up to make the play. One down. Here's Austin Wells, last 7 games, 3 hits and 24 at-bats. There's a hit. Pass to diving Jimenez into right field. Wells with the first Yankee base runner.
No, I did this last year, and I'm doing it this year also, Michael. I just think that every time I look up, he's not hitting what he should. He's got a good swing. He hits a lot of balls hard. Some of them get caught. But, you know, he's going to fight his way back. He can do a lot of things at the plate, you know, offensively, and I just know by the end of this year, he's going to have good offensive numbers.
There's Oswaldo Cabrera, the number 9 hitter. 1-0. On Cabrera. 1 on, 1 out. Bottom of the third, 0-0. Well, I got to the ballpark today about 5 to 4. Fans were lined around Yankee Stadium waiting to get in.
Michael, I was panicking. I was getting off the exit, and I saw all the people. I'm like, what did I do? Take the wrong time here? What time is it? I checked. You're right. They were here hours before for the giveaway.
It's a great giveaway, the hockey jersey night, and people wanted to be in early, and they put them on right away. And they just, you know, walking by, I mean, people were so happy and pumped up to go to a game. And that's turned into a very popular giveaway. 3-1. That's laced into left center field. It's a base hit. Wells round second. He's going to go to third. Lucas throws to second. It's a base hit for Cabrera. First and third, and 1 man out.
A really good job by Cabrera with the hit, but also by Wells picking up the ball, going first to third. You don't think sometimes it's all in the read, and right here, you're going to see you're going to have to reverse and throw back to third base, so it's going to give you a little more time. So he just cruises into third. Now the Yankees are in business here with 1 out.
Back to the top of the order, and Trent Grisham. Jays looking for the double play. And a strike to Grisham, who fouled out to the catcher in the first inning. Yankees trying to strike first here in the third. Wells at third. Cabrera at first. Held by Guerrero. Off the mask of the catcher. Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. So in 2024, he had 9 home runs and 209 plate appearances. This year, he already has 6 in 57 plate appearances. It's going to be a little bit of a juggling act for Aaron Boone because you have a righty on the mound. Dominguez just had a really good game Wednesday in Cleveland. Obviously, his strong side is as a left-handed batter, but they've committed to getting Grisham in the game almost every single day, especially against righties. So Dominguez sits against a right-handed pitcher. And maybe tomorrow could be Bellinger.
Yeah, I mean, Grisham's always been a specialist at defense and controlling center field, but the type of start he's gotten off to this year early, I mean, you've got to keep him in the lineup. And you know, is this the year he's going to have, or are you just going through a hot streak? You got to figure that out.
2-2. Just gets a piece to stay alive.
You know, it's really hard. Obviously, you want to let players, you know, go and paternity leave and be part of, you know, having a child. But all of a sudden, you know, it's 4 days, 5 days before you've played a game, and now you're back, and now you're trying to refocus into another part of your life.
Well, this is the first game little Ezekiel's going to see his dad play baseball.
That's right. I'll be taking a bottle right now, just checking out the tube. I know all about this stuff now, Michael.
Second time around for you.
Oh.
Two. Inside 3-2.
Well, Kirk's pretty good at throwing out runners. He's really improved defensively, but still 3-2-1 out. I'd like to see Cabrera get a jump and get things going, try to stay out of the double play.
Let's see if they do send him. Nope. Grounded to first, and he's coming home, and Wells will be tagged out. So they sent him on contact to stay out of the double play, and it's an easy out for Toronto. 3-2 getting Wells.
It's a really good play by Guerrero because, you know, you have to realize, is this a ball I can turn to and get out of the inning at 100%? With probably not. You're that close to the base. You know, he picks up contact. You're right, Michael. Third base, you're going to go on contact.
Here's Aaron Judge, struck out looking in the first inning. First and second, 2 outs, bottom of the third. Fouled away. Cabrera at second. Grisham at first. Those are the numbers against the Blue Jay right-hander. 5 home runs and 35 at-bats. Grounded, third. Clement hits Judge, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 4th. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Cadillac scoreboard, 0-0. Top of the 4th. Here's Vlad Guerrero Jr. And a strike.
Talking to him on the field today, and he said, I said, how's your father? I haven't seen him in a long time. He said, oh, he's up in Montreal. I said, what's he doing in Montreal? We're doing a big ceremony retiring his number up there. You know, when you're a Hall of Famer, get your number retired everywhere, right?
And that's where Guerrero was born.
Yeah.
So he's a native Canadian. Now, Meredith had a long conversation with Guerrero on the BP All Access show. How'd that conversation go, Meredith?
Michael, it went well. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. kind enough to join me on set for that one. And Paul, his dad, did come up. He said he credits him in really teaching him the way, getting him to the big leagues. There was also a moment where his father threw out a first pitch to Vlad, and Vlad Jr. told him, just throw a strike. Throw a strike. Didn't want him to embarrass him. But he said he loves playing here in the Bronx because when he feels like he's playing here in the Bronx, it feels like he's playing in the Dominican. So there's such a big Dominican population, and it feels like he's playing at home.
And he works a walk. Well, Dad was pretty good. MVP, Hall of Fame, 318 lifetime average, 9-time All-Star, 8 Silver Sluggers, great in the outfield. They could be, I mean, there's a lot of years left. They could be father and son Hall of Famers.
Never happened. Huh?
Junior's got a long way to go, but
yeah,
he's got the talent. Santander.
Wow.
Oh, what a play by Grisham. Check that. Chisholm for the first out.
Well, if that was Grisham, Michael, he got a great jump.
That was some jump, yeah.
This ball was rocketed. This is just a reaction play, and just hope it stays in your glove. And a big play and a big out. You see Carrasco in the background there, yes. Instead of first and third, now you've got a runner on first with an out.
Here's George Springer. 0-1.
George Springer's having a great year. We've talked about it. He's had a great career. And I was just looking at his lifetime. Usually a leadoff hitter. 60 career leadoff home runs, which is second all time. Ricky Henderson, obviously, 81 leadoff home runs in his career. World Series champion and the MVP in 2017. He had 6 home runs in 7 games in that series. It's pretty good.
35 years old. Attended UConn. He's from New Britain, Connecticut. One and one. Jimenez on deck. Grounded. Foul. Jeremy Rehak was trying to decide which way to point. Got turned around.
When he got it right, though, it was pretty demonstrative. He showed you it was foul. Yeah, let's make sure I don't get hit. Now I'm really going to show you. You know, it's funny, Michael, as a third base coach, an umpire, even when you're a base runner at third, you know, your natural tendency when the ball's coming at you is to get out of the way, and you always get out of the way towards the dugout, and the ball that is pulled from a righty hooks. So it's like chasing you as you're trying to get out of the way.
Swing and a miss. Springer down on strikes, 2 away.
Well, again, and when Carrasco gets ahead in the count, his changeup and his breaking ball, he can use it and be really effective with it. Again, a strikeout with a breaking ball off the outside corner. Well, I wish I could see the spin when I played like that. You know, that's how easy that looks to hit.
Here's Jimenez. A fly ball to center in the second. He's now 6 for his last 41. Came over to Toronto in a December trade. From Cleveland to Toronto for Spencer Horwitz and Nick Mitchell. Paul told you he's won 3 straight Gold Gloves. In 2023, also won the Platinum Glove as the American League's best defender at any position. And he was one of the players that the Guardians signed to a long-term deal. Third season of a 7-year, $106 million deal. And now the Blue Jays assume that deal. 3-1. So 52 outs above average since 2022, 63 defensive runs saved. And there's a walk to Jimenez. So a walk to Guerrero and now Jimenez. First and second, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Kirk.
Get a couple of walks in this inning has put him in an opportunity. Matt Blake going to go out there and try to figure out how that. Kirk hit the ball hard last time. You remember Volpe made a really nice play. But you got to make sure what page you're on to try to get this big out.
Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand. Plus stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. So the Blue Jays threatening here in the fourth. Each team with 2 hits. Neither team is pushed across a run. First game of a 3-game set for the Yankees. First game of a very short homestand. 3 games and then back on the road again, where they'll play 3 against the Orioles in Baltimore. Next season was supposed to be the walk year for Kirk, but he signed a 5-year, $58 million extension that takes him through 2030.
Again, when he was called up, Michael, you remember he was DHing most of the time. It was kind of a secondary position as a catcher, but he's really worked defensively. Become a starting catcher. And Carrasco did his job by getting a big out there with 2.
Judge puts it away. Blue Jays strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Monitor Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Jonathan Loaizaga scheduled to begin a rehab assignment tomorrow with Single A Tampa. Currently on the 15-day IL, right UCL surgery recovery. What an addition he would be to the bullpen.
Yeah, no doubt. We were here, Michael, doing that game where he was thrown out there on the mound. So, you know, to envision him in that bullpen, that's going to be one guy. When you look at it, you've got a lot of guys out there.
Rice grounds out to Jimenez.
They get outs, but you don't have any really flamethrowers out there. And the Loaizaga, when he was at his best, was right around 100 miles an hour.
And they're also going to get back Clayton Beater, also a guy who throws in the upper 90s, so it could change the complexion and give Aaron Boone the luxury of different looks against teams in successive days or in back-to-back appearances. Here's Goldschmidt. You know, for a guy who came in with a 5.02 ERA, Barrios pitching very well.
Yeah, both pitchers, if you combine their ERAs, was, you know, over an 11 combined, and both pitchers throwing well.
Right in on the hands and foul back. Long set and the pitch. 1-2.
We were talking about the injury report, Michael. You talked to Coney? Remember, he pulled a hammy up.
Oh, he's fine. Oh, he's fine.
He didn't come out of the game, but I was worried about him. He didn't.
A lot of people have asked me, is he okay? High pop-up, shallow left center. Bichette out number 2. So Goldschmidt's 0 for 2, and that'll bring up Bellinger. Two down. 1-0. Bellinger struck out in the second, 3 for his last 22. And it's funny, Paul, you look up and down the Yankee line, there's a lot of guys struggling. But there are guys that are just automatic hits. And then you look at their numbers, they're second in the big leagues in runs per game at 5.48. Only the Cubs are better at 6.27. 6 batting average, second in on-base percentage, first in slugging, tied with the Dodgers for first in home runs. So they're getting through it.
Yeah, I mean, the home runs have been consistent. The averages, you know, you'd love to see some of these guys, especially with speed. Volpe, Chisholm, I mean, those guys start to bring their averages up, their on-base percentage, so you can really start to, you know, use your legs on the base pass also.
Just got a piece. 1-2. You know, he got a hit in Cleveland. You know, he has such a violent, long swing, and he really shortened up and just punched a single through the infield. Did that with 2 strikes. And there is a single to right field. So Bellinger 2 out, single here in the 4th.
Well, the breaking ball, it gives Bellinger an opportunity to kind of get around and just line it to right field. Again, you know, to make adjustments at 2 strikes and put the ball in play, I always love to see that from players.
Here's Jazz Chisholm Jr. Fly ball to left in the second. 0-1. Missed outside. Missed with the change, 1-1. Two and 1. Yankees have 3 hits. Blue Jays have 2. Carrasco and Barrios in a pitcher's duel. Three and 1. Sometimes you go on 3-1 with 2 outs.
Well, both offenses yet to score a run, so you know I always like to put pressure on the defense. You know, get guys running, get guys moving.
And he's moving, but it's ball 4. So first and second, 2 outs. Here's Anthony Volpe. Flied out to left center. The catch was made by Lucas. Hit the ball well in the 3rd inning. Now first and second, 2 outs. Second straight inning with a runner in scoring position for the Yankees. One and one. High fly ball. Center field, Springer puts it away, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, and 2 men left on base. Let's take it to the 5th. The New York Yankee Foundation's 50-50 raffle is now open. During every home game at Yankee Stadium, one lucky fan wins half the pot, and the other half is donated to the New York Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets now at Yankees.com/50-50.
Between the innings, Michael, I saw somebody paying for that. And they, you know, just pulled out their phone and you tap the little computer. And Can you imagine seeing that when you were a little kid? It'd be like the Jetsons. So it just can't happen.
We are the Jetsons now.
Whatever happened to the lot of money? You used to pull out your ones and stuff, huh?
They don't accept money in a lot of ballparks.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm waiting for the flying cars. I mean, everything else the Jetsons had right.
You know what?
They had Zoom meetings way before.
Friday on the Deegan, I'd love to have a flying car.
Well, PitchCom trouble. You know, they always talk, Paul, about unbreakable records. They talk about Cy Young, you know, total wins, Cal Ripken, consecutive games. Well, this is one that's not talked about enough. In 1904, on this day, Jack Chesbrough of the Yankee franchise, then the Highlanders, won the first of what would be 41 wins, which is an American League record that still stands. There's no way anybody will ever get that.
You don't even get that many starts.
No, you don't get starts, and they don't let you finish them.
That's right.
So Jack can rest easy.
Cheesebro, was that his name?
Chesbrough.
Chesbrough. All right.
And a strike to Barger.
I saw in the notes today, too, is either I think it was the Philly Fanatic's birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is he?
I don't know.
For it.
Yeah. Think about mascots. When it was like, I think the San Diego Chicken was like the one that really started everything, right?
Yeah, and the Philly Fanatic took it another level. Ripped into right center field. On the run is Grisham. He's not going to get there. He'll play it off the base of the wall. Barger around second. He'll stop right there. So a leadoff double.
This ball hit hard, and Grisham does an unbelievable thing here. Couldn't make the play, but took his eye off the ball, took off to a spot, kind of relocated where the ball was, gave himself a chance, but the ball was just hit too hard. And Barger, you know, one of those guys, they just keep waiting and waiting. Came into tonight's game hitting .059 with no home runs, no RBIs.
Here's Clement. You know, I've got to give you props. I've got to defer to you.
This really, really bothers you.
It really does, because I looked at it. I wanted to make sure. I mean, all these years, 64 years on Earth, I thought it was Jack Chesbro. It is Jack Cheesebro. Popped up to Volpe. I mean, you tell me how Chesbro is Cheesebro.
I just threw cheese out there. I didn't even know I got lucky.
Wow. I stand humbled before you, Paul.
Well, you talk about a big out right there, just kind of a looper, and nothing happened. Berger not able to move on, and all of a sudden Carrasco has an out in his pocket.
Here's Nathan Lucas. And a strike. Ian Hamilton's heating up. One and one. Bo Bichette on deck. Looped into left field, but right there is Bellinger. Had him played shallow for the second out.
Well, Carrasco's really making some good pitches. I mean, you expect his slider, his changeup. We ran a two-seam fastball up and in. Another jam shot. Now he's got an opportunity to get out of this inning after a leadoff double.
He's been economical, just 64 pitches. And now here's Bichette.
Yeah, Bichette really had a down year offensively last year. He's kind of back to where he is. You know, you're used to seeing him right around 300. He led the league in hits 2 years in a row. So, I mean, this is a guy that knows how to hit.
And he's playing for a contract. He's a free agent at the end of this year. He and Guerrero very, very close. But not quite sure that they will sign him. Nub, first base. Goldschmidt steps on the bag, and Carrasco pitches around the leadoff double by Barger. No runs to hit. One man left. We're halfway through at the stadium. 0-0. Well, tomorrow afternoon on Yes, Max Fried, love watching him pitch, takes them out as the Yankees and the Blue Jays play Game 2 of the series here in the Bronx. Coverage will start at noon with Audi batting practice in the pregame. Then first pitch is set for 1:05 on Yes, and of course the Gotham Sports app. Austin Wells leads off the bottom of the fifth inning, 0-0 game. Pitch misses outside, 1-0. Wells single to right in the third inning.
I feel so enlightened, Michael, because last telecast we went over the whole Gotham thing. Now every time I hear you say Gotham app, I know the story behind it, where it came from. It's like going to school up here, you know?
It is. It really is. I just learned about Cheesebro.
I learn something every day. It took 20-some years for me to finally teach you something.
Ground ball, and it finds a hole, a base hit for Austin Wells. He's 2 for 2.
Well, both sides have had opportunities to score. Nobody able to do it. But here, again, leadoff hitter. Ball running away. Stays with it just enough to drive it up the middle. Yeah, that bat continues to go through the zone. And if you start to use your hands at the end of that swing, you roll over, and it's just an easy ground ball. If you stay through it a little bit longer, as Wells did, you're able to drive it up the middle.
Pitch to Oswaldo inside. Now Tim Hill starting to heat up. And down, but quickly up is Cabrera on the foul ball.
Tim Hill going to throw 162 this year. I don't think I've done a game this year where Tim Hill didn't pitch. Does he pitch every day?
You know what? He pitches well.
Yeah, he does. I like when he comes in. He's quick, throws strikes, gets outs. Ouch. Some things in baseball you don't miss, Michael. That's one of them.
Bunt it in the air, fires to first, and get past Guerrero, allowing Wells to get back. So a former Gold Glove winner, Barrios quickly off the mound, grabbed the bunt in the air for the first out.
Cabrera frustrated, obviously, not wanting to. Looked like he wanted to go down third base was his bat angle, but just did not get the barrel pointing that way. It was an opportunity. Austin Wells did all he could, but then a bad throw.
Back to the top of the order, and Grisham. 1-0. Grisham 0 for 2 tonight. This crowd is waiting to explode. Looks like an absolute full house here in the Bronx. Fouled away.
It's one of the few pitches you've seen Barrios miss with. That ball right down the middle of the plate, fouled off by Grisham.
We have an age for the fanatic.
Yeah.
Tom McCarthy, the brilliant play-by-play guy for the Phillies, reveals that the fanatic is 47.
47?
47.
That's it?
Yep.
Might be a second.
You think he looks older?
I think it might be a second generation.
I don't know if he's dyeing his fur, but it's all green. There's no gray in there.
Exactly. Dyeing his fur.
The payoff. Fouled away.
So the ones you need to step out on, Michael. That ball got so, almost hit him in the thumbnail. It got so in on him, and you just got to get that one out of your mind, because if you think of that last swing, that last pitch, you're going to look inside. I mean, it's so late. So you just step out, kind of reboot, and get back into a normal at bat.
So you should pull the plug, reboot, like you do with a computer?
You got to do something. You can have talks with yourself any way you want to try to do it. Sometimes that didn't work for me. Self wouldn't listen.
But you talked a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Great changeup, getting Grisham two-way.
Yeah, Grisham had a couple pitches to hit in that at bat, and he fouled him off. And you're going to see that good changeup going down and away.
So Paul Hembekides, who works at ESPN, broke this out. Aaron Judge, coming into tonight, his last 162 regular season games.
Right.
That's a year. 205 hits, 62 home runs, 133 walks.
Wow.
And over his last 4 seasons, a .311 batting average, .437 on base percentage, .677 slugging. And that the people that have those numbers, Ruth, Williams, and Bonds.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, we talk about it every night, but it won't go away. There's another hit. Aaron Judge is just, in my mind, the best player that has stepped onto this field in a long time.
Think about this, Paul. If he does not bang up his toe in L.A., he might be playing for his 4th straight MVP.
Yep, and the Yankees, you know, who knows where they would have gone that season either, because you took him out of the lineup when they were off to a pretty good start. But again, you can watch, and it's his consistency where he is when the ball is in the strike zone, which gives him an opportunity every single time he walks to the plate to hit something hard.
So I looked this up, too, since 2016 when he first came up. His lifetime batting average is .291. During that time, the Major League Baseball average is .235.
Yeah.
And during that time, 52 home runs, 62 home runs, 58. It just doesn't jive.
That's the thing, is everybody thinks of Aaron Judge and the huge bomb home runs that he hits. But he takes a lot of pride in hitting 300 every year, too.
Yep. And when he first came up, even when he hit the 50 home runs, there were holes, and he worked to close them. First and second, 2 outs after a trip to the mound by Pete Walker. And there's Ben Rice. Outside, 1-0.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity for the Yankees. Barrios this inning has missed with more pitches than he has really the whole game. Ben Rice can get something to hit here, put the Yankees on the board.
One and one.
Yeah, that was more about the speed. Again, that was not a well-located breaking ball. Right up in the middle of the plate.
Ground ball, second base. Jimenez will get Rice, and Barrios works into and out of trouble. We played 5, 0-0.
Hey, everybody. Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Phillies and Cubs at Wrigley today. Bottom of the second. John Birdie gives the Cubs a lead. Goes out to left center. Pete Crow Armstrong scores. Cubs never gave up the lead. Bryson Stott, final out of the game, lines it to right. Cubs beat the Phillies 4-0. They couldn't get the Philly fanatic a win on his birthday, guys.
The Cubs are playing great. Let's go around the majors. Fernando Tatis Jr. Great numbers this season. The veteran Salvador Perez, 5 hits, 4 doubles, 4 ribbies in a doubleheader against the Rockies. And Tommy Pham suspended 1 game for inappropriate actions toward fans in Anaheim when they were playing the Angels. Tim Hill comes on. Last time he pitched was Tuesday. So Carlos Carrasco with a strong 5 innings, and you know, people might be asking why. Well, it's the all-important 3rd time through the order, Paul.
Yeah, Carrasco did a phenomenal job. Obviously, zeros across the board through 5. For Aaron Boone, you really can't ask for more.
Now, Hill pitched in 9 of the first 19 games for the Yankees, but he has had 6 of the last 7 days off, Paul. So obviously, you've missed him.
Oh, he might just finish the rest of the game then. He's fresh.
That one is driven deep to left field, giving Chase Bellinger, turning, looking, see ya, into the Blue Jay bullpen. Guerrero with a solo home run. It's 1-0 Blue Jays.
There's things you don't see very often, and that's home runs off of Tim Hill because he's a sinker ball pitcher. But things you do see is Guerrero hurting the Yankees, which he just did 412 feet later, 1-0. Some ballparks you just walk into and you just feel good about hitting. The 2-seam fastball, you see it had kind of rising action. It didn't get to the sink. Guerrero didn't miss it.
Well, since 2020 against the Yankees, that's his 20th home run. Ground ball is short. Volpe gets Santander. the 14th home run by the team.
Well, Vladdy's second of the year. I mean, he came into this series with 1 home run. That's just not the type of numbers we're used to seeing.
Another ground ball of Volpe as they retire Springer. Well, let's check out Jimenez coming up. Hold for 1 with a walk. That's the first home run off Hill since July 24th. That was Mark Vientos, who was here with the Mets that day.
A little added excitement, and I'm sure we're doing those games together, right? The Mets and the Yankees this year, the Subway Series, with Soto being over there.
That should be interesting. Well, first time they get together is here, middle of next month. Ground ball to second. Jimenez retired, but on the board, the Blue Jays with the Guerrero home run, 1-0. Montefiore Einstein scoreboard as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Toronto 1 and the Yankees nothing. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 in the Yankee order against Berrios, Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. So righty, lefty, lefty. Goldschmidt's 0 for 2. He has an 8-game hitting streak coming into this one. High fly ball. Lucas, 1 pitch, 1 out. John Snyder, the manager of the Blue Jays.
I mean, Snyder's thinking the same thing. You've seen Berrios. I mean, that was a really good swing. Goldschmidt just missed it. But you've seen him miss out over the plate much more in these last couple innings than you did the first 3 or 4.
There's Cody Bellinger. One 1-0 as he skips rope to get out of the way. Two 2-0. On Bellinger. Bellinger's 1 for 2, a strikeout and a single to right. The Yankees have 5 hits. The Blue Jays have 4. The difference in the game, the Guerrero home run. It's 1-0 Toronto. Three and 1.
He's really pounded him inside. He got the 1 strike on the changeup. Everything else has been missed in.
And a walk to Bellinger. So he's the threat to go at first base. Let's check out pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Carrasco, you cannot say anything. I mean, he was fabulous tonight. Good to swing and a miss there. And then all of a sudden, 1-0. Well, that's how it happened. Tim Hill does not give up many home runs. He won up to Vladdy there.
And that's going to do it for Berrios. They're going to call on the lefty to face Jazz Chisholm Jr. So Berrios goes 5 1/3. And the runner at first is his responsibility. He leaves with the lead. So Jazz will get the scouting report. It's time to name that Yankee, brought to you by Prevision, made for your brain. 130 wins, ERA of 4.14, 1,681 strikeouts with the Yankees in 2000, 2001, 2002.
Wow. Okay, so he got traded in 2002 from the Yankees to the A's. That's our big clue right there, Michael.
And from the Expos to the Yankees. Brendan Little will come on.
I got you tonight.
You got it?
I just took care of business.
Oh, nice. Runner goes. Throw to second. Got him. A perfect throw. And Bichette applies the tag to get Bellinger for the second out.
Getting off a lefty, a little later break, and we've talked. Behind the plate, Kirk has really improved as a catcher. A good pitch to throw on. Ball out away. And just a perfect throw. Up the line where the tag right into the runner. For a better throw, or a better pitch to throw on, but Kirk, look what he has done percentage-wise, second in the major leagues, throwing out runners.
Three and one. Little, 28 years old, third big league season. Former first-round draft pick by the Cubs in 2017. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. So Chisholm with a 2-out single.
Well, from a lefty, this is usually what you're going to see. Kind of a spinner away. Either try to jam you in or get you off of that ball away, and just stayed with it just enough. Grounded up the middle. Speed back on the bases with 2 outs.
Hamilton is up for the Yanks. Two and 0. Volpe is 0 for 2 today. So they bring in Little, and he's having trouble throwing strikes. Do they green light Volpe, who has been struggling? Hoping he gets a cookie. Runner goes. There's a strike. Throw to second. Got him.
Wow.
Trying to steal on 3-0, and in all likelihood, it's going to be a fastball.
Yeah, you got to see the replay here. This ball looked like he was got in there, but Aaron Boone says no, they're not going to challenge. It's an impressive inning by Kirk behind the plate. 2 caught stealings in 1 inning.
Jimenez gets the ball, the quick tag, and that'll do it as we go to the 7th inning, 1-0 Blue Jays. Well, come celebrate Star Wars Day at Yankee Stadium on Sunday, May 4th. There'll be appearances by your favorite Star Wars characters, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Giancarlo Stanton Jedi bobblehead. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets today at Yankees.com, and may the 4th be with you. Well, Jazz Chisholm, for some strange reason, tries to steal on 3-0. A walk, he goes to second anyway, and usually, Paul, on 3-0 pitches, you're going to get a fastball. It's not a good pitch to steal on.
Yeah, it's against a lefty. Sometimes you just go on first movement. But again, here's Kirk at the plate. He had a pretty impressive inning by throwing out 2 people with good speed.
I can't imagine that That was called from the bench. That seems like it was a player decision.
Yeah, I would say most of the times you see guys running are basically on their own. Aaron Boone, I mean, that's the old school about you wait for the steal sign. You've got guys that can run. You let them read the pitcher. You let them get the jump. And Kirk's had 5 minutes of a pretty good game. 2 caught ceilings and now a leadoff single.
Let's check out the optimum don't take slow for an answer replay.
And if you look at the location that he throws up the line, so the runner just slides right into it, and that's kind of the way catchers are taught now. These are just 2 perfect throws.
Pitch to Barger is a strike. Got a double right center. Leading off the 5th inning, didn't come around to score.
You'd have to ask Joe Girardi. You'd have to ask Flash. I mean, catchers, you saw Kirk's reaction to throwing out Chisholm. They take so much pride in throwing out runners and holding guys back. I mean, that's such a different inning with a man on second base there.
Especially in this day and age, everything is slanted to the runner. You can only throw over twice. Grounded to first. Goldschmidt goes to second to get the force, allowing Barger to reach first on the fielder's choice.
That was a really good play by Goldschmidt, but boy, the angle that he had to throw, that ball got to the other side of second base. If Kirk would have been a little deeper down the line, probably would have hit him right in the back.
And that's going to do it for Hill. Runner on first, 1 out. Clement coming up. He'll face Ian Hamilton. All right. Very quickly, we find out the answer to Name That Yankee. Paul, you got it quickly, and who do you think it is?
I think it's Ted Lilly. I remember Ted Lilly, yeah, when he just came to the major leagues. He met us in Baltimore. We were just going out to lunch. He walked in. I said, hey, you want to go out to lunch with us? He couldn't hide his enthusiasm to be there and just to go hang out and have lunch.
Did you pick up the milk?
Well, of course. I mean,
nice.
Coming in from a minor league side. I think Posada and Jeter went that. I think we flipped for it. I don't know who won.
15 big league seasons, 2-time All-Star, 3 seasons with the Yankees. Hamilton to face Clement. One thing I remember Lilly, had a really nice career as we just showed. He gave up the longest home run I've ever seen to Barry Bonds.
Yes.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Went the upper deck. I remember that.
It was past halfway up the upper deck. To third. There's 1. There's 2. And around the horn, 5-4-3 double play to double up Clement. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of the double play, nobody left on base at the end of 6.5 innings of play. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Blue Jays lead the Yankees 1-0, but will stay right here as they honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps and direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. Should I stop? United States Army Staff Sergeant Jimmy Del Rosario from Patterson, New Jersey, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. The Yankees say thank you, Jimmy, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, please join us singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
Stand beside the mountains, to the plains, to the ocean, like before. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. All right, fans, it's stretch time, so please join your heads.
After review, the call on the field stands. Runner.
Time for your Forward Studio update. Bob and Jack with you. You told us this would be a bullpen game tonight. It is, but Carlos Carrasco gave him 5 good innings.
Yeah, his slider was really good tonight, Bob, and he was cagey out there, mixed up his pitches and shut down the Blue Jays. But then the difference in this game is left-hander Tim Hill facing Vladdy Guerrero to start the 6th. He takes him deep. So now it's the Yankee offense that has to pick up Hill, try and produce against the Blue Jays across these last 3 innings.
Right there within striking distance. We'll talk about all of it on the postgame, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. 1-0 Blue Jays, 1-5-0, 0-6-0. Barrios, 5 1/3. Guerrero, the home run. Carrasco, 1-5. Yankee offense 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position, 6 left on base. Something happened that I don't know if we've seen. So the Blue Jays challenged the double play call at first base as Paul Olden, the PA announcer here at the stadium, was introducing the veteran for God Bless America. That's driven to right field. It's over the head of Barger. Going to second is Volpe, and he's in there with a leadoff double to break an 0 for 10 slide.
Wow, great piece of hitting, but I tell you what, you showed speed here because he had an opportunity to easily be thrown out at second base, but he just put on the Jets about halfway there. Good ricochet there, a good throw, but Volpe just absolutely outran the baseball. About halfway around, puts the ball as a hitter now. All right, now I'm in trouble. I better get it going.
So, runner in scoring position, nobody out. Here's Wells. Swings at the first pitch and lofts it to center. Springer makes the catch, tagging Volpe. He's going for third, and he will make it standing.
A lefty-lefty matchup. Wells got enough out on it deep to center field to get Volpe to third base. You know, I didn't notice this live, Michael, but this ball was cut off, and I don't know if it was off target. It didn't look like it, but that was going to be a much closer play at second base.
Infield is in. They'll let Cabrera bat from the right side. Tyne runs at third. Anyway, to finish up that story, so Olden introduced God Bless America while the Blue Jays were challenging, and the umpires were listening back to central headquarters, and after the rendition was over, they turned to the Blue Jay dugout. He's out. And they lose their challenge. Here's the play that they were looking at, and they got it right. Very close, but they got it right. Hit through the drawn-in infield. That'll tie the game. Cabrera allowed it back from the right side. Gets a big single. It's 1-1.
Yeah, big single, and from the right side of the plate against the lefty. Infield drawn in, and you have such an advantage as a hitter. Hit it hard. It'll find a hole. Trying to get the slider down and in. Didn't quite get it down and in enough. He was able to lace it right through the left side. Hey, Michael, what do you know? We got a tie game.
Trent Grisham takes outside 1-0. Looking down at the third base coach, Luis Rojas. Fernando Cruz getting ready for the Yankees. Two and one. Jimmy Garcia for the Blue Jays. Out of play. So Volpe with the leadoff double. Moves to third on the fly ball, center by Wells. That draws the infield in. And Cabrera hits one through the left side to tie the game. Three and two, Judge is on deck. So this is the last batter that Little is going to face.
Yeah, with Aaron Judge on deck, I would imagine you would stay home at first base in case you get an out or a strikeout. You want Aaron Judge hitting with somebody on first.
Swing and a miss. Got him. Two down.
They went with a breaking ball, 3-2. After jamming him with the fastball before, it just kind of opens up that outside corner. But the good news is, Michael, you got number 99 walking to the plate to face another pitcher.
He's going to face Jimmy Garcia. That'll do it for Little. The game is tied at 1. Runner on first, 2 outs. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees. And by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Aaron Judge 1 for 3 tonight. He's reached base safely in 22 straight games. And he comes up with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Runner on first base of a 1-1 game. And Jimmy Garcia takes over. He's off to a great start. Hasn't allowed an earned run in 11 1/3. Last appearance was Wednesday. 34 years old, 11th big league season. Outside. Those are the numbers against Jimmy. 3 for 12, a ribby and a walk. And struck out 5 times. Two and 0. Way outside. 3-0, and Ben Rice is on deck.
Yeah, you got 3 consecutive breaking balls off the outside corner. You talk about the adjustments that Aaron Judge has made since he got to the minor league. That's it. I mean, he swings at strikes.
Hits the outside corner with a breaking ball. So he's doing a breaking ball on 3-0.
Yeah, I don't care if second and third are open. First base is not, but you're not going to give him a fastball 3-0 right down the middle.
And he missed outside. How do you say pitching around him without pitching around him?
Well, that was a close pitch. It was the first fastball he had seen in the count. He tried to throw a 2-seamer, just didn't quite get back to the outside corner, according to Tom Payne.
Now the go-ahead run in scoring position. And here's Rice, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Didn't have much fun against Barrios. 0 for 3. But he has really pounded right-handed pitching this year. Garcia, a tough righty. Good pitch. 0-2. 2-2.
Hasn't seen a pitch inside in this count. I wonder if he's going to try to get him to swing and miss on a ball in off the plate. Strike one, strike two, right on the outside corner. Left the zone away there, up and away.
Two and two.
He kind of made it easy on Ben Rice to get this count back to 2-2 because neither of those pitches, 0-2, were even close.
And the pitch. High fly ball, right side. Long run for Barger, and he's going to make the play in foul territory for the final out. But the Yankees tie the score, 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left. We'll go to the 8th, 1-1. Well, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Hyundai scoreboard, it's 1-1, first game of this 3-game set. Fernando Cruz, 21 strikeouts in 13 innings, 2.08 ERA. Opponents hitting 136 against him. First up, Nathan Lucas. And a strike.
So, Michael, figure this one out. You got Carrasco starting for the Yankees, 6.5 ERA. Barrios pitching a little better, but with a 5.5 ERA. At the end of 5, it's 0-0. Now we're in a 1-1 game.
That's baseball, Susan.
Where's John Sterling when you need him, right?
Now on a served into center field, it's a base hit. A little looper. Lucas picks up his second hit of the night. Take a look at the Audi electric moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Wow, this is why we're in a 1-1 tie. Cabrera with the infield in, and on third base, rips one through the left side to tie this game up. It's your electric moment.
Here's Bichette. One and 0. On Bichette, the dangerous Guerrero is on deck. Yankees have 8 hits, Blue Jays 6. Keeps missing up and in. Count 3-0. And a strike. Hit softly up the middle. They get one. Chisholm let the runner go by. That was not a good move. You get the lead runner.
Yeah, he thought he ran him back far enough, but he did not. And, you know, if you're going to make this play, you've got to get him back at least halfway there. And he got rid of the ball too early. By stopping him, you got to make him go the other way. He just did not do it correctly.
Here's Guerrero. And a strike.
Well, this is one guy that Cruz needs to get ahead of, and he did with strike one, because now that split finger becomes more effective.
just repeat this. Boone said, I've seen some of the worst swings I've ever seen against any pitch in my whole baseball life against this splitter.
Yeah, and this is really like a true forkball. It just knuckles, it takes off, goes downwards. But again, you have to be ahead in the count to start expanding the zone.
Check out the exit velocity presented by Spectrum on the Guerrero home run. 108.4 off the bat. And it went a long way, 412 feet. Broken back, ground ball, Volpe. And the backhand scoop by Goldschmidt to get Guerrero as Lucas moves to third.
Well, I think Anthony Volpe got his glove going the wrong direction, and then it kind of took away of the whole flow of the play, and a great play. So he kind of reaches across the other way and then ends up kind of lawn darting it over there. But a great pick by Goldschmidt, and you look at that, that goes to the screen. You're probably down 2-1.
Leiter's warming up. Santander due up. Matt Blake goes to the mound to talk things over. Well, the conference is done.
Santander at the plate. I mean, he's pretty much switch hitter, pretty much equal from both sides. But the one thing you do worry, obviously, is that forkball. A lot of them end up in the dirt. So if you're Austin Wells, you've got to try to block anything from going to the screen.
And a strike to Santander. Hit into a double play. Hard line drive caught by Chisholm to the glove side. And then a ground ball is short. Quickly up, 0-2.
You know, because of runners on third here, I think if you're Cruz, you go for the strikeouts. You don't try to get somebody to swing one in the dirt and try to bounce one and take the chance of throwing one to the screen.
And the pitch upstairs.
Yeah, if you're going to waste a pitch, you waste it up there. You don't waste it in the dirt with a man on third.
The veteran George Springer on deck. Lucas leads up third. 2 men out, 1-1 game, top of the 8th. High fly ball, right field. Judge has plenty of room, puts it away, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 1. Well, fans, go to @YesNetwork on X and vote for the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. Is it number 1, Aaron Judge, number 2, Paul Goldschmidt, number 3, Max Fried? That's not an easy choice. All 3 of them had great weeks. We'll see who wins.
So if you think about the way Max Fried has taken over that ace role, he has really done well.
Goldschmidt hits one foul. Devin Williams up. Good numbers against Garcia for Goldschmidt. And a timer violation. So a ball on Garcia.
I think he got desperate at the end. He was just going to ask for another ball or something. It didn't quite work.
One and 2. Goldschmidt 0 for 3 has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. soft ground ball. The play is made by Clement. One away.
Another just looks like an easy play, Clement, but you just take for granted what major league infielders do. I mean, this had to happen so quick because it was topped. Gloved in the transition, everything went well. It's just not that easy of a thing to do. Get a grip on a baseball and make a good throw.
Well, that's going to do it for Garcia with Bellinger coming up. They're going to call on another left-hander. It's a 1-1 game, bottom of the 8th. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam. Big giveaway at the stadium today. Sellout crowd. Yankee hockey jersey. And the Yankees liked it so much they were wearing it during BP.
Like a hockey score, isn't it? 1-1?
Pretty much. And, you know, Canadian team in town, it's perfect. All right, so a new left-hander, Mason Fluharty.
Yeah, the hockey playoffs are a little short in this area this year.
Yeah, well, the Devils are in it.
Yeah. They're across the river, though, Mike.
Yeah. So the lefty deals. And a strike to Bellinger. One and one. Years old, Fluharty made his major league debut on April 1st. This is his 10th game, and he's had 7 straight scoreless appearances. Fly ball, shallow right center, and he's going to drop in for a base hit. Bellinger's going for 2. The throw not in time. A hustle double for Cody Bellinger.
Well, you saw his reaction. He knew he missed it, but then he started to see that, you know what, this might drop in, and he took a chance, and because the throw was on the shortstop side, he was able to get in there to second base. A big double. See right there, that's your frustration. But then you realize, hey, this might fall in, and why not? Let's just go for
it. Third time. Bellinger on base, 2 hits and a walk, so he's 2 for 3. And here's Jazz Chisholm Jr. Opportunity to give the Yankees the lead. Runner at second, 1 out. Fluharty deals. 1-0. Never heard the last name Fluharty.
Not to be confused with Flaherty.
No.
Fluharty.
Never heard it. 2-0. Got the breaking ball in there for a strike. 2-1. Shows bunt 3-1. Bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees have 9 hits. Toronto 6. It's a 1-1 game. And a walk to Jazz Chisholm Jr.
That walk's a big walk. I don't know if Fluharty has to face Volpe where he could have pitched around him because he had Wells on deck. Now you're going to figure out what's going to go on here.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, wants to talk to Fluharty.
A fast and reliable connection backed by a 100% U.S.-based workforce. So you get the best customer service experience possible. Spectrum.
So Anthony Volpe, his last time up, a big double over the head of Barger in right. Went to third on a fly ball by Wells and then scored with the infield in when Oswaldo Cabrera got it through the left side. And that's how we are tied at 1. So another big at bat for Volpe. Did he find something in that double to right field? That broke an 0 for 10. So first and second, one man out. Crowd with a Volpe chant here in the Bronx. Crowd of 46,081, the third sellout of the year. Yankees averaging over 40,000 per game. The 0-1. 0-2.
Well, everything's spinning so far. Cutter on the first pitch and then a breaking ball here, down and in.
And that hit him. On an 0-2 pitch, he gets hit to load the bases.
Wow, what a break for the Yankees. 0-2. They're going to take a look at it, as we will. You hear kind of a click. It might have hit something.
Umpires will confer. So I'm paying the home plate. I'm talking with the crew chief, Chris Conroy.
On the field is hit by pitch. This is the crew chief review.
Took it upon themselves here. It's going to be very hard to tell. Well, there was no hesitation from Volpe. That's the one thing that sometimes, you know, as a hitter, you kind of think about it, but it does look like it changed direction a little bit. But from that angle, really can't tell.
Challenge replay brought to you by Citizens Made Ready.
It almost sounded like it clicked. It might even skidded across the back of his back foot.
I'll tell you what, from that replay, because the call on the field was hit by pitch, I don't think it could be overturned. If it was the other way around, I don't think it could be overturned.
Yeah, there was a slight sound, and that's the only thing that kind of gave it. And his reaction, I mean, you're not looking to get hit as a hitter, but when you feel that, you're gone. You know.
Let's see if we can hear it.
After review, the call on the field stands. It's a hit by pitch.
Volpe immediately said it hit me. Well, they get the matchup that you talked about, lefty-lefty, but now that the bases loaded, so no margin of error for Fluharty and the Blue Jays.
You'd love to see Wells stay in the middle of the field here, and just like he did last time, long fly ball, something up where he can drive.
Blue Jays bring the infield in. One and 0.
If you're Austin Wells, Fluharty has not shown anything to any lefties inside. So, you know, you look middle away. You're in the driver's seat right here.
Two and 0.
Your mind starts racing, Michael. Do I give a pitch? Do I try to take it? Do I go aggressively? This is where you really have to have some conviction on what you're trying to do.
Driven into right center field. Coming on is Barger. He makes the play. Tagging and trying to score is Bellinger. He will. It's a sac fly for Wells. And the Yankees take a 2-1 lead.
This was what was exciting for me coming into this season with some of the speed that the Yankees have. And, you know, with Bellinger being one of them, Wells does a good job. He hits about the end of the bat a little bit, got a good pitch to hit. But with that speed, Barger off target just a little bit. Bellinger easily scores.
Runners stay on first and second. Here's Oswaldo Cabrera batting from the right side where he had a hit in the 7th that tied the game. Now Devin Williams will face 4, 5, and 6 in the Blue Jays order in what is now a save situation. Snap throw to first. Diving back just ahead of the tag is Volpe.
Anthony Volpe. I mean, he gets off the bank. You see him, he does that hop step, and that allows him to get back also. Good try by Kirk.
Kirk showing off today with that arm. Sky to right field. Barger coming on and puts it away. But the Yankees take the lead. 1 run, 1 hit, and 2 men left. Devin Williams will try to close it out. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Untuckit. Find the perfect fit today at Untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. We go to the 9th inning. The Yankees leading the Blue Jays 2-1, and they'll turn to Devin Williams, who has been struggling. Now, he's had some outings where it looked like the Devin Williams of the last 4 or 5 years. He came in a game the Yankees led by 4 against Tampa Bay and ended up blowing that one. So we'll see how he does here. This is a save situation. George Springer will start it off against Devin Williams. And a strike.
Well, you see how fast you can close the book on your last outing here. The big 4-run lead that he gave up in Tampa last Saturday has not pitched since.
One and one. Way outside. 97. That's pretty fast for his fastball. Jimenez talked things over with the Blue Jays dugout. 3-1.
After getting a quick strike, all of a sudden 3 consecutive balls, and Springer, he will sit on a fastball. He's a fastball hitter.
And that one is lined to left field, and it's a base hit in front of Bellinger. So the tying run on for Toronto. Upcoming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. Tomorrow, 1:05 start on Yes, 1:35 on Sunday, also on Yes. Then back on the road, 3 night games against the Orioles in Baltimore, and the Wednesday one is on Prime. Another off day on Thursday, and then the Tampa Bay Rays come to town next weekend. Here's Jimenez, a light hitter. Do they have him bunt?
He got good wheels on first, too. Springer's 4 stolen bases on the year already.
Historically, you don't like to try to play for a tie on the road, but Blue Jays having an awful tough time scoring runs. No bunt, and the pitch high. Now, if his struggles continue, I mean, just through Jimenez, then you're going to get the crowd involved, and that becomes an issue as well. Paul mentioned he hasn't pitched in a while. And the Yankee infield decides, let's talk this over. Chisholm's the first one there. Cabrera, Volpe, and now Goldschmidt. And Wells will join them.
Now, this is where you need somebody, whether it's Goldschmidt or one of the veteran players, to just get in his ear and say, you know what, let's go. Throw strikes. Let's get out of this. Take away the negative thoughts and get back to doing what you've done your whole career.
7.88 ERA this season from 2020 through 24. 1.70 ERA. Springer first. 2-0 count on Jimenez. And he throws a strike with the change.
A good spot for the good changeup after a good fastball.
And he hit him. Hit him with a fastball on the 2-2 pitch. And that's going to move the tying run to second and put the go-ahead run at first. Still nobody out.
Well, he went with the fastball and he just overthrew it and just kind of tugged it. Hit Jimenez right in the back of the leg. Was not going to leave it out, and he just absolutely tugged it right into his leg.
Well, Boone wants him to talk with Devin Williams so that Leiter could get ready.
Well, you got a good double play guy here if you can get a ground ball. But again, you've got a guy that's hit the ball pretty hard tonight also.
Kirk 1 for 3. Missed outside. Getting into big trouble here on this Friday night in the Bronx. Yankees lead 2-1 in the 9th inning. Williams, the closer, trying to close it out. Center field, backing up Grisham, and it's over his head and up against the wall. Springer will score. Right behind him is Jimenez. He will score. It's a 2-run double for Kirk. Williams blows the save, and the Yankees trail 3-2.
Well, Kirk again, he's had good swings all night. This ball off the bat, you didn't think he really got it, but it just took off. Grisham playing in had no chance. Where he hit this ball on the barrel. Yeah, he hit it on the barrel. I thought he hit it off the end of the bat, but this ball had carry on it. Grisham, obviously, we've talked about his defense. No chance.
Well, Boone is going to take the ball from Williams, and this soundtrack will not be kind to Devin Williams. Looks like a track meet as the Blue Jays score 2. Stay tuned after the final out for tonight's WB Mason Yankees postgame as Bob and Jack will have highlights and analysis. Meredith gets player interviews in the clubhouse, and we'll hear from Aaron Boone on the manager's report. That's all coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. So Tyler Henneman is going to pinch run for Kirk. So they have speed on the bases. Mark Leiter Jr. in. He'll face Addison Barger. And there's a foul ball. Can you pick anything up with Devin Williams, Paul?
You know, I don't know enough about him. Obviously, he's not thrown enough strikes tonight. He was off the plate, and you know, you get in hitters' counts, and I don't care how good your stuff is if you can't locate it. He never really got to his changeup where he could strike people out.
That one is looped into left field. It is a base hit. Here comes Henneman. He will score. Barger with an RBI single, and now the Blue Jays lead 4-2.
Well, this is like an offensive explosion for the Blue Jays. They have not been doing anything. They've had some quality at bats here in the ninth. A little jam shot going the other way, but it finds a hole.
Carlos Feblis, the third base coach, energetically waving him home. So a nightmare ninth inning. And Miles Straw is going to pinch run for Barger. Clement swings at the first pitch. Lofts it to right center. Long run for Judge. He hauls it in. And heading back to first is Straw. So here's Nathan Lucas. One and 0. Well, the Blue Jays closer Jeff Hoffman is up. Signed as a free agent. Essentially replacing Jordan Romano, who's really struggling in Philadelphia. Fouled away, 1-1 on Lucas. Lucas with 2 hits and 3 at-bats. And the top of the Yankee order against Hoffman. The book on Hoffman, he comes right at you. Runner goes. The runner stops. The throw goes in. And heading back to first base is Straw.
Straw got a bad jump, and he figured it out, but Austin Wells just thought he was going all the way, so he threw through. Through. That's a little tongue twister there.
Through? Yeah. Through. Through. 2-1 on Lucas. Hits are even at 9 apiece. Blue Jays lead 4-2. 2-2. Now, the Yankees are certainly dedicated to Devin Williams being their closer, but they also have to win games. So how many times you keep running him out there until you give him lower leverage situations to work things out? I mean, his history would tell you after April, his ERA goes down into the ones. But you don't want to lose games while he's trying to find it. And you do have, Luke Weaver out there who's been great.
He was great last year, and he was great this year. But, Williams, you look at him, he's probably confused on what's going on here. It just probably has never been through something like this. We always talk about that adjustment period in New York, and, he's going through it right now.
10 earned runs this season in 8 innings. He had 3 earned runs in 21 2/3 innings last season. Runner goes. Chisholm gets the out of first. Straw moves to second. And if you wonder, why did he only have 21 2/3 innings last year? He was hurt and came back and, really dominated. But he did give up that big home run to Pete Alonso that cost Milwaukee a chance to advance in the playoffs. So here's Bichette, 1 for 4. Count 1-0. Yankees came into the inning up 2-1. A big 2-run double by Kirk, a single by Barger, and now it's 4-2 Toronto. Broken bat, 1 hopper. Chisholm throws on 1 hop to Goldschmidt, and that'll do it. But the damage has been done. 3 runs on 3 hits. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones? Well, fans, streaming live live Yankees games, and so much more, and it's free with an eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now or visit gothamsports.com to get streaming. Now, the Yankees will try to bounce back after giving up 3 runs in the 9th inning. They're down by 2. First game in this 3-game set, and they'll have to face the closer for the Blue Jays, Jeff Hoffman. Those are his numbers: 18 strikeouts, just 1 walk, and 12 in the 30s. 32 years old, signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Blue Jays in January. He agreed to a deal with the Orioles for 3 for $40, but they backed out when a shoulder issue came up in his physical. He then failed the physical with the Phillies, but the Blue Jays signed him. Right in on the hands and fouled back by Grisham. So the Yankees have 2 runs. The Yankees have only 6 games this season with 3 runs or fewer. That's tied for the fewest in Major League Baseball with Arizona. Grisham can get on. Judge comes up as a tying run. Fouled away. So Heineman takes over behind the plate. Straw goes to center, and Springer moves to right with Hoffman on the mound. Grounded to first. Guerrero beats Grisham to the bag. And now they can pitch to Judge with a little more calm, as he does not represent the tying run. Judge 1 for 3 with a walk. Hoffman deals. Nice slider. 0-1. Sellout crowd here at the stadium. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. That slider misses off the corner. 1-1.
I don't see this very often, Mike, when Aaron Judge comes up and, you know, he's setting the table now. He's got to get on base or drive one out of here just to get the tying run there.
1-2. Upstairs, he tried to hold up, goes around. 98 miles an hour. Judge down on strikes. Yankees down to their final out.
Yeah, it's just a good pitch. I mean, away, and then all of a sudden as a hitter you start leaning out over there and you just can't hold up with that pitch kind of boring in up and in.
So here's Ben Rice, swings and misses. Rice is 0 for 4. The Yankees do have 9 hits, but they've only managed 2 runs. 1-1. Driven to right field. That ball's going to be in there and bounce up against the wall. So Rice keeps it alive with a 2-out double.
Another good, solid at-bat by Ben Rice against a righty. And you talked about it earlier, Michael. He owns righties. A little two-seam fastball, a little up in the strike zone. Allows Rice to turn on it. That open stance, he has no problem getting to it and hooking into the corner.
All right, so that leaves it up to Goldschmidt. The veteran is now the tying run at the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. The double by Rice, the Yankees' 10th hit. Goldschmidt is 0 for 4. His 8-game hitting streak is on the line. He's done amazing things, but the one thing he hasn't shown that much of is power so far this year. But he's been great with runners in scoring position. He has 1 home run on the year. And when they talk about him, they say how good he is situationally. 2 strikes, he'll shorten up, go the other way, just to try to get the job done. This should do it. Jimenez is right there. And the Yankees lose 4-2 in front of a disappointed sellout crowd here at Yankee Stadium. They were 3 outs away from a 2-1 victory, but Devin Williams could not close it out, and the Yankees lose the first game of this 3-game set.
Well, there's Kirk, and he had a big game, threw out a couple guys, and then a big hit to drive in the winning run. But this is one of the few games, throughout the year you figure you should win. Well, you got to steal one back because you get your closer in there, and somehow you had the lead in the 9th. Didn't come home with the win. Just hope you haven't woke up the Blue Jays for this series.
Well, Blue Jays snapped their 5-game losing streak. The Yankees fall in this one 4-2. We'll be back. Drive of the game, Paul.
Well, it's Vlad Guerrero, and he's done it many times against the Yankees. In the 6th inning, he put them ahead 1-0. There's a home run jacket. Only his 2nd of the year. Proved to be a big one.
All right, now we take a look at the Range Rover Sport Dynamic Performer.
Alejandro Kirk in the 6th inning had an inning you don't see very often from a catcher. 2 caught stealings on perfect throws. Then he gets up on the next inning in the 7th. It just hits a huge big base hit to put the Blue Jays ahead for good. Blue Jays win. That's your dynamic performer.
4-2 Toronto. 4-9-0, beating 2-10-0. Time of the game 250. Fluharty, his first big league win. Hoffman is 6-8. Devin Williams goes to 0-2. Kirk had a big day. Devin Williams 3 runs allowed in the 9th without getting an out. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the WB Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Jared Ames Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees continue their series against the Blue Jays right here in the Bronx. Coverage will begin at 12 on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 1. Once again, the final score, Toronto Blue Jays 4 and the New York Yankees 2. For Paul O'Neill and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Now, let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, who are standing by in our Yes Network studios with the postgame show. Guys?